How are those mints?
They're fucking good, dude. I keep one of those in my truck. You can't find those anywhere.
You got to go to Walmart.
Walmart,
bro. Fucking Walmart.
Okay.
Peach iced tea, beautiful icebreaker mints. I was going to spend $20 for like 3 boxes. But then I found them at Walmart. Dude, I had when I had them for the first time, I was like, dude, these are like the fucking best things ever.
Yeah, those are really, really good.
Sounds like some ASMR. Fucking.
You like them, Russ?
He says they're delicious.
They're pretty good.
All right, man. Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry for the brief interruption. I wanted to take a second to say, please like and subscribe to the show. Leave us a comment. It helps us grow in a major way. And we just added something new to the podcast. Send me a text message. Let me check the number. 661-276-8043. You guys will get access to content before anyone else, and I'll send you something funny. Now let's get back to the show. Whoosh. So how we doing, bro?
We're doing good. Finally here.
Jeez.
I feel like we talked about this for a long time.
Dude, we started talking, November, December, something like that?
Yeah. Has it been that long?
Mm-hmm.
I was in rehab.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, so that wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah.
I think it all worked out. I feel good now, so I'm glad I'm here.
How you feeling, though? Feeling good?
I feel amazing.
How's your foot?
My foot hurts really bad to the point I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Like, it's probably the worst injury I've ever had.
Jeez, man.
I've shattered this heel. I had like 2 plates, 10 screws, but this is just, man, I dislocated while I was in rehab.
Ugh.
We went to this event and I rode dirt bikes all day. I went to this Red Bull course, like huge jumps. It used to be a Red Bull course. They call Wyvern, like full huge jumps. What I'm trying to say is I do this on my dirt bike. I go super big, kill it. And then there's a little pit bike race that night. Little tiny bikes, right? Mm-hmm. And then I just went. I wasn't even going to ride. Me, Andy, Roy, all my buddies went. And then they had a jump off, a little contest over like 3 big jumps. And I don't really do that. I mean, but it's small. Like, I got it. And I knew I shouldn't have done it. And when you have that in your head, that's when you just back down, dude. Mm-hmm. I told all my friends, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable. We got to be back at 8 because there's a curfew, and it was getting late. I'm like, let's just go. And then they're like, no, you got this. If you get through it, no one's here. You win $500. I'm like, I get on some guy's bike and I go off the first jump. And I overjump it so far in front of everybody. Like, people thought they were expecting me to win. And then I did the biggest boner move. I went all the way to flat. And I've never had an injury like that. When I landed, it felt like my whole foot just blew off. Like, I felt like I didn't even have a foot. I got up, and my foot wasn't even on my leg, dude. It looked.
Sorry for laughing.
No, dude.
I just see his face.
I was tripping, dude. Everyone, I almost went into shock because I'm good with injuries like that. But when you see your foot like not even in the right spot, I thought it was a compound fracture. I'm like, oh, just keep my sock on. Dude, they want to take off my shoe and my sock. I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. It was heavy. It was the worst pain I've ever been in. And yeah, that's been like 3 months, and it still just kills me, dude. I still have like a cankle. I have issues with people with cankles, especially like women. I don't care how high you are, or how cool. If you got cankles, I'm done, dude. I got the biggest blown out cankle, dude.
It's payback, bro.
It is payback.
I used to talk,
dude, I used to talk shit out loud on that, and sorry for people that got cankles. I'm one of you know, and
I'm one of you.
Yeah, I'm one. I don't know what to do. So it's just,
but seriously, what are you gonna do?
I don't know.
You didn't go to the doctor?
I did. What can you do? They popped it in. I got metal in that ankle, so I'm sure they said the metal's fine, so I don't have to get it taken out. But, what are they going to say? Just heal up? I haven't really been slowing down at all.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure if I just mellowed out, but I don't know. So I figure I'm going to be hurt, in pain when I get older anyways. I got a cool cane at home, so I'm trying to make that work.
You're already preparing?
Yeah, I'm good, dude. So, yeah, it's cool.
No, you got to get that shit fixed, bro.
I know, but there's really nothing they can fix. It's like, It does a lot of damage when your whole foot gets dislocated, all the moving parts and everything. So I'm sure it'll.
Why can't they just like staple it back together?
Dude, I wish. I was tripping because I did this while I was in rehab.
Yeah. And
when I crashed and I saw my foot, so many things went through my head. And I'm like, dude, I'm in rehab. I got to go back on pain pills. All this shit, it was so heavy. And then I thought I was going to have surgery, which like the cost, it just would have been a nightmare. And then they just popped it back in and they're like, no surgery, nothing. I got so lucky, but it's crazy how my life is. is that I truly feel this moment in my life when I got hurt was meant to happen, because this is the first injury I've ever had without taking pain pills.
Jeez.
And it was because I was in rehab to show me that I could do it, to have like that guidance, and like, they would have let me take a couple as prescribed.
Of course.
But I didn't. And that was the first, like, I did that on my own. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to take pain pills. And it's crazy how like a lot of it's in your head. I was in pain, but I did it. I went through the whole thing without taking pain pills.
You did.
And it was like, now it shows me that my next injury, knock on wood, but when you ride, it will happen.
Of course.
I can get through that. And those are some of my biggest heroes, like Travis Pastrana, Matt Hoffman. Those guys, every broken bone, they don't take pain pills.
Jesus.
In the past, that was my excuse. When I would get hurt, game on. Like, I can't wait. Now I can get pain pills from doctors. I got the green light because I'm hurt.
Yeah.
It was like, I would be so happy when I'd get hurt. I'm like, this is it.
That's fucking crazy to think, though, right?
It's rad. Just like,
It's
but
rad.
it was a life lesson to show me that I could do it. And I don't know if I would have maybe been that strong if I wasn't in rehab. It worked out.
Yeah.
I didn't see it at the time, but after, I'm like, holy shit, this was like, I feel like it was meant to happen.
Yeah, a lot of things in life are, it's just kind of like in hindsight. When we're going through it, we're just going through the motions. But when we can take the time to sit back and reflect, it becomes a lot bigger.
100%. I tell people that my darkest days always turn out to be the best.
That's it.
Even the shit I'm going through right now, like, I don't know if we want to get into it, but on paper, my life is all jacked up on paper, but it's all going to a better life, and like, it's making me so much stronger. And I know that in a couple years I'll look back and be like, yeah, I had to go through some shit, but look how happy I am. But yeah, it's hard to see that sometimes when you're in the thick of it.
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
going to rehab,
Dude, 100%.
going down there, me and Russ talk about it a lot. Like, I remember just in tears, not like crying like a baby, but like just like no hope for life. When I was driving down to rehab, like the first time, whatever, but the second time when I just got out like a month before or 2 months, and I'm going back, like just no hope for life, so depressed, don't want to talk to anybody, don't even want to like be on earth. And then leaving, being the happiest person, looking back and like all the things I learned the second time I went. Yeah. It was amazing, but it just, you don't see it at the time.
No, absolutely, man. I mean, whenever we're going through the shit, right? We're going through it. But you asked businessmen, you ask, people that have gone through addiction, go through whatever, right? What are the biggest things that they, like, what moments in their life have they taken the most from, right? You ask businessmen, it's fucking failures. You ask people fucking with addiction, it's their fucking, what blew up in their face, right? But they learn from these situations. And I think more people need to start looking at the negative isn't always negative, because there's a lot of positive. Does that make sense? Right?
100%.
So, but it's being able to open up your eyes enough to be able to see that, this moment sucks, but it's temporary.
Exactly.
Right? We do control hopefully our own destiny, our own life, right? And so, going through the shit sometimes sucks, but if you can see that future, if you can envision it and you can continue to push through, that's where the biggest gains will always come from.
And the biggest thing is like how to process that. Like, you can go through those shitty times, and if you don't like look back and learn from those to like not do it or like to fix those problems, if you keep repeating the same thing, you know what I mean?
Yes, that's
like,
the definition of insanity.
It is, and that's like the biggest thing. What do you take from it?
Right. You're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, right?
Yeah,
Jesus. I'm going to hit my head against this wall 50 million times. It's going to be the same end result every single fucking time. But we as human beings do that, right? I want to dive deep, bro. Like, Colin, where does your story start? Like what is like some of the earliest memories of your life? Where does that begin?
Just like as a kid, trying to figure out like who I am. I grew up in a really perfect home. My parents, great family, suburban in Moore Park, California. They never drank, they never smoked. I don't have that childhood. Wow. I had a great childhood. They got divorced, which like it kind of messed me up. I was like 8, but not bad, dude, because my mom was still a great mom. Now I got 2 Christmases, like I know I'm lucky, because I know a lot of people have it rough, and I know how lucky I am. And that's like, how I turned into the dude I was. Like, geez, I had it so good. And then when my parents got divorced, that's when I just didn't know not basketball, baseball, soccer, just trying to figure out what am I here on life? What made me click? What made me want to have fun? And then my dad took me, this is when my parents got divorced. So me and my dad really linked up, just like doing stuff every weekend. And it was always so much fun hanging out with him. But we went to a Mickey Thompson off-road truck race at Anaheim Stadium.
Okay.
Just off-road trucks. But during intermission, they had a dirt bike race. And it wasn't really like a full supercross track because the dirt bike track was on like an off-road track. So mellow jumps, but that was the first time I saw a two-stroke and like guys jumping in the air, the smoke, the smell. I couldn't believe it. That was the first day of the rest of my life. Every single day after that, I would just bug my dad. I'd get dirt bike magazines, cut up pictures, put them in every single drawer. Like, I mean, I would cry every night. It's just, I want a dirt bike so bad.
Wow.
Couldn't get a dirt bike. We didn't have a lot of money, but it was maybe baby steps. We got into BMX racing.
Okay.
I fell in love with BMX, but I was always a guy on the BMX track. People would clown me because I'd wear a chest protector. And back in the day, you wouldn't wear like full face helmets. I'd wear a motocross helmet, like trying to be, I thought I would pretend I was on a dirt bike out there.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, not pretend, but the whole process of BMX was to get a dirt bike. So like out there, it's kind of like motocross, same type of track. There's no motor. And then, I did that for a couple years. It was cool. Then I think I was in, fourth grade, fifth. I was 12. My dad, the loudspeaker called me out. Colin, come to the office. Your dad's here to dentist appointment, whatever. And then my dad picked me up. I didn't know I had a dentist appointment. He's like, yeah, we got to go home really quick. And he opened the garage, and this was the best day of my life. He opened the garage, and there was a dirt bike there, dude, an 85 YZ80. And it was like the best day of my life. I'll never forget that day.
God.
As a kid, like your first dirt bike and how in love I was. And that was it, dude. I mean, 12 years old. And we were off to the races. When my dad would go to work, I would gear up and just sit on my dirt bike on the grass and just sit there for hours, dude. Like I was just, it was everything. It was fucking everything, dude. And then, it's, started going to the track, started racing. I was never that good at racing, man. It was, my dad he grew up riding dirt bikes, but it's not like we had a motocross family. So we were trying to figure out everything together.
But very supportive, man, because I mean,
so supportive.
Called you out of school to surprise you with a dirt bike.
Yeah, my mom was a little mad, just how I'm sure most moms are like that,
It's dangerous.
But that's kind of how it is. And it was just like me and my dad every weekend go to the races, 80 beginner, 80 novice, and I got a big bike, a 125. Then my dad got a dirt bike, and we started racing together. So it was just a really good father and son time, dude. Then he broke his leg. Like he should have been an old timer racing the old timer class. He didn't know that there was an old timer class, so he raced 125 beginner with like all these young guys. It was classic looking back at it. And then he broke his leg, and then he sold his bike, and then it was all me. But
was it easy for you? Like you said, because racing was hard.
It wasn't hard. It just I don't think it was my thing, because I remember like when I got a big bike and I started to figure out the jumps, that's when it turned into like, I would start doing these tricks, like no footers, like point at the crowd, point at my dad, and like I would do all these like really basic tricks. But at the time, freestyle motocross wasn't a thing. There were no tricks. And then I got really, really kind of good at doing these jumps just at the track. I would just go to the track and just find like the biggest jump, cut the track, and just hit that jump over and over. And my dad was so supportive, dude. Like video. And there's no, like I said, there's no freestyle, but my dad was so supportive. He didn't care. I just wanted to see me have fun. And then, I started doing that. And then like some tracks, they'd have like big races, national anthems. And I would kind of get known for being this kid that just doing jumps. So then I would they'd call me over and, hey, during the national anthem, you want to do the finish line jump and like do a little trick. So I'd start doing that. And then, then Crusty Demons of Dirt.
Yeah.
This is the first, motocross back in the day, it was very cookie cutter. Like dudes tuck their shirts in, thanks their sponsors, thumbs up, just totally like, how do you even say it?
White suburban.
Yeah, dude. It was kind of corny back in the day. Crusty Demons of Dirt, it started from a snowboard company, snowboard filming, and they came out with dirt bikes, and it was all partying, drugs, sex, tattoos,
rock and roll lifestyle,
rock and roll. I saw that movie. I'm like, oh my God, dude, that's what I want to do. It was like that. There's a couple pinnacle moments that changed my life. It was like the day I got my bike and the day I saw Krusty Demons of Dirt.
Jeez,
and then Moto Triple X came out, and then it was just a lifestyle because that's what I want to do. It's like it was just about having fun on your bike, going big, and for me, just showing off, dude. And then and then I would still be that guy. I would still go to do races, but this time I didn't care. I'd like be in like dead last, but I didn't care because I would just find the biggest jump where the people were and just like do tricks, and like people would kind of know me for that. And then Seth Enslow, the star of Krusty Demons of Dirt, he was my hero, dude. Like I wanted to change my name to Seth. It was everything. I'd like have like Enzo on the back of my jersey. He was a god to me.
How old were you at this time?
I was like 15 maybe. He was like literally god.
Was there did you have friends that were doing this too, or were you
nobody? Everybody, like we had like a BMX crew, you know, but all my buddies and all my racing buddies, they would almost kind of clown me because I'd have like baggy pants and like, remember, there's no freestyle. So it was just like, what are you doing? You know, because you're supposed to go to the track, eat right, train, go to the next big race and do good. And I'm like, fuck that, dude. I'm just like having fun on my dirt bike jumping.
Yes.
But I remember their parents, they would get mad at their kids for hanging out with me because they thought I was a bad influence. I wasn't doing drugs or anything. It was just like, what's this guy doing, you know? It's funny now looking back at it. Because now, so like, I'm the only dude that made it. And they're like, you know, it's like, you know, it's funny. I just followed my heart and followed and it everything worked out like you couldn't even plan it. I got just really lucky. I think really timing.
Did you get lucky?
I think just timing maybe, but I don't know, you know, doing all those little things. My dad support me for just doing jumps at the track, you know, and then all that turned into, we went to Star West. It's a big motocross track, and I was doing the same thing there. They have a really big jump there, and I remember we would go there just so I can hit this jump. My dad was like standing right by the jump, but dude, all of a sudden, Seth Enslow shows up with all the Krusty guys filming Seth, dude. Like, this is straight up such a big deal for me. I couldn't believe it. And then they saw me jumping, and then Seth came up to me. He's like, "Hey, what gear?" Like, hit me. And I tell Seth, he's my good friend now, it's really cool. And he knows this story because we bring it up all the time. And then him and me are jumping. They're filming me with Krusty. Then they invite me to go film with Krusty Demons of Dirt. And at a kid,
are you serious?
16 years old. That was the biggest thing for me. And I remember that was it. My dad didn't go on that film trip. It was too gnarly, but my other family friend took me. I saw things I didn't even know. Like, I saw things like I saw my first booby. I saw like people taking like these things called bong rips. You know? I was just a little kid, like from Moorpark, like just brought into this. And then like a year later, they had the very first organized freestyle motocross contest, 1998, Costa Mesa, and I was the only rookie there. I was the only like kid because there was no freestyle motocross. So they were just picking dudes like all the stars like Mike Sinkmars, Kerry Hart, Tommy Clowers, Clifford Autumtante, the Flying Hawaiian, like all these guys I would see for years in movies. And then it was me. I was like the only rookie, dude. But it was rad. That got my name in. And then like after that contest, freestyle motocross blew up.
Yeah.
And then it was just every week. And that's like, in fast forwarding this whole story, like that's how I got into freestyle. It was rad, but back in the day, it was, you had to be somebody, but there was nobody else.
Once again, though, it doesn't sound like that was luck, bro. It sounds like it was consistent hard work and support, though. Right? So maybe you got lucky for having badass parents. You know, that's what I can consider luck.
100%. And then, you know, when these jumps I was doing, like I would do stuff not a lot of other guys were doing. Exactly. You know, even at freestyle at 16, stepping up, like the first wood ramp, all these jumps, I did not care, dude. Like my first Moto Triple X film trip, my dad took me at like, I think I was 15. And we were tripping because Moto Triple X invited me to come out to film. And this is huge, dude. And my dad and me didn't know what to do because I was riding a 125. So he bought me a 250 just so I could like step up because everybody was riding 250s. We got a 250 the day before.
Wow.
Never even rode a 250. And at like 15, 16, it's a big bike. You know, at the time it was the biggest bike you can get pretty much. And we show up. I didn't know where we were going. They just gave us an address, and we went to Mike Sinkmar's house. And this is like the Michael Jordan of moto back in the day for a free ride. His course was so gnarly, and I show up, and then Travis Pastrana is there, Seth Enzelo, and then me. And I did all the jumps, and I never rode a 250. I warmed the bike up and just went for everything. And there's a couple shots to me in the first Moto Triple X, and I'm like kind of bonered out, like not the best style, but like, dude, it's crazy.
You were young, dude.
And never rode that bike and ride in front of Pastrana. It was cool, but yeah, I never backed down. There was never one jump I didn't do, like I did everything. So, and then, yeah, so I just slowly got better, more freestyle shows. And then I was in, fast forward.
Hold on before we fast forward. Hold on. All right. So when you did that, right, you got the 250. How old were you?
I was like 15, I believe.
So you're 15 years old, right? All of these things are starting to happen.
My dream.
These are my dreams. Like, dude. Most people don't get to live any of their dreams until they're older, and never at all, right?
Yeah.
So you're 15 years old, dreaming about this since you've been what, 8 to 9, 10?
Yeah.
When was that? When did you watch?
I got my first dirt bike at 12, so probably like maybe 10.
So 10 years old, 5 years. That's a long time. That's 1/3 of your. That's what? Yeah. So 5 years, 1/3 of your life. You're starting to live and see your dreams. What did your parents think? What did your dad think? Like,
my dad was just always proud of me, always. And my mom, she didn't really love my mom. We have the best relationship, but I don't think she got it because she wasn't there like with watch me watch Krusty Demon's Dirt all day, going to the first race. She saw the love, but I just think she was really scared. And I think maybe with a divorce, seeing like my dad trying to like maybe take me to like, I don't know. It was weird. It was a lot. I got to talk to my mom about this. I don't know.
You should.
Because it was a lot. I don't know if it was like she was like jealous because my dad was trying to do stuff to make her mad. But my dad's always been supportive. Till right now, me and my dad talk every single day through everything. He's like my best friend. So he's just always supportive. My mom was supportive, but she was just so scared of me getting
different
hurt.
Levels, man. Different levels. But
100%.
Yeah. But to have very supportive parents, right? Even though your mom was scared, right? But you're having a very supportive dad throughout this entire experience, man. That is a beautiful fucking thing.
It is, dude. And I know a lot of people, and I just like, there's nothing I'm blessed. I got lucky, very lucky, and it hurts me some of the stuff I've done down the road. But yeah, I had a very good childhood. I really did. And I look back, and I hope if I have kids, I can give them that childhood. I think doing that raised me to be like loving to a lot of people, just seeing how they treated me. So it's crazy when you're young, like it's, you get a lot, like learn I don't know. It's crazy.
It is. I mean, growing up, just the whole experience, especially being at that age and being in the lifestyle that you were starting to be in, right? I mean, that's crazy, dude. Being 16 years old, going through all of that, seeing all of that, even though like I went through similar shit, seeing crazy stuff, like I see kids now, man, and like my wife's younger siblings and things like that, and just growing up a little bit faster, right? It just sounds like you kind of did the same thing. It
was just a good childhood, dude. I think like kids now are like 100% pussies, dude. Like most of them, like just what, no, I'm not calling them out, just like technology. I remember every day, like when I was a young kid, it like went to go pick tadpoles, go to the pond. Then we would just build jumps, get dirty all day long, go drink water out of people's hoses, like just ride bicycles from till the sun came up, till the sun went down, dude.
But I also think that's because we didn't have computers. Like
we didn't. That's what
now.
I'm saying. It's not the kids; it's the technology.
Exactly.
And that's what I meant.
And that's what you said. Yeah.
And it just ruins you. Like
it does.
You learn so much getting hurt, getting banged up, going
on.
You do.
Like, it's so important to be able to
getting dirty.
Well, we're blessed because we got both sides, right? Like, how old are you?
I'm 38.
So you're 38. You're just a few years older than me. And it's like we grew up without technology. Like there was technology, right? But what we're talking about today's standards, 100%. Right? Grew up without it, and then we grew up with it, right? So we are at that kind of like that paradigm shift where it's like kids today are grown up in the thick of fucking technology.
And I feel bad for them, and I don't mean to call them out, but it's just like because I'm addicted to technology on my phone all the time, dude.
It's not their fault, man.
It's not their fault, and it sucks. It takes away from a really. I feel lucky, like our age. You know, I remember I got my first fucking pager. You know, like I remember putting quarters in a payphone. You know, absolutely. Get my first Game Boy. You know, it was just seeing all that. It's cool.
Yeah, it's a different experience. I was watching this like YouTube video or whatever, and they put some like, I don't know, they're like 14, 15-year-olds into a room with a rotary phone, right? You gotta turn it, right? And they put them in there for like 30 minutes or an hour, right? They couldn't figure out how to use it. They literally couldn't figure out how to use it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that might be outdated, archaic technology, right? But it is that just that ability to kind of think outside of the box, right? Where 100%. Technology really kind of just brings everything to you. You know, it's delivered on a fucking nice, beautiful piece of paper. And, you know, so being able to grow up without it allows us to think outside of the box, right?
Yeah. And I think about it, like we've talked about this before. I'm very intrigued, and I love like World War II, the 1940s when life was simple. Can you imagine our grandparents?
Dude.
Like what they went, like we're talking about like when the first Game Boy and having a pager, like what they went through, seeing like the first airplane, the car, like all this stuff. And they got to like just trip on the generation today.
Rocket going to the moon. You know? Like so fucking crazy, right? And that's like a great way to look at it. It's like, they probably think the same thing, right? Or they thought the same thing. Mm-hmm. And every generation does that.
Yeah, 100%.
But there is something to say that, you know, although like we grew up with technology, right? It's just different now. And and I like what you said though, because a lot of people go in on the kids. You didn't. You said it's the technology. And so I think that's for me what stood out the most, because I'm always like a big proponent. Like, no, it's not the fucking kid's fault, dude. It's not. It's just it's given to them.
It really isn't. And I still realize how great it is to go ride my mountain bike, to go. So maybe it came from the past, because like I said, I'm addicted. You know, like all the cool new video games.
Yeah,
like
100%, dude.
You got a computer on your in your pocket that can do everything, dude. And it's just it's good and bad. You know, all the people. I mean, I do all my business, everything for like everybody knows what's up,
dude. I always talk about this. Is like we're first generation cyborgs, right? Yeah. You can't leave the fucking house without this. Right?
No,
this is literally a piece of us,
100%.
Right? And so the only difference is that we don't have it fully attached to our bodies yet, right? Give it another 10, 20 years, shit's gonna be happening, right?
It will.
But all right, let's bring it back to your story, right? So, right, you're 15, 16 years old. You do it wasn't Crusty Demons. What was it? Triple X, right?
Just Triple X. And, you know, the first X Games, I missed the first X Games in, I think, 98. I did X Games 1999.
Jesus, man.
San Francisco, like the second one for motocross. That got my name bigger. And like I said, it was just the same, like 15 of us where we would do freestyle every single weekend in a different state, different country, and it just blew me up.
You were how old when this?
Like 16. Oh, I did my X Games, and then 2000 they did the Vans Warped Tour. I got a phone call, and they needed a couple freestyle guys, moto guys. They called me, Bo Manley. I forgot the other two. So at age like 17, I think I was 17, 18. I was we had our own tour bus, 2.5 months, summer camp, every single day, jumping in front of fucking 15,000 people, being on tour. Like every single day is a different show. You would just wake up and you're in a different venue. And for 2.5 months, every single day, I mean, Bad Religion, No Effects, Pennywise, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, If I remember D12, Gwen Stefani was on it, like Eminem, Blink-182. It was unreal. So like, that's when it really sparked off, dude, because that's when I started to really kind of go for it. I'm talking not go for it, but, you know, drink my first beer. This was right before Warped Tour. And then on Warped Tour, it's like, that's all you did. Like, you had to go jump in front of people. People would trip. All the bands would trip. Like, the bands that I look up to my whole life, they were tripping on us, like looking up to us, wanting to hang out with us. It was a trip.
That's so crazy.
And when all my other buddies, like, I'd come home and they're like going to high school parties, which is cool. But like, I was on such a different level.
Yeah.
And it was so hard to turn that switch off, you know, like, but then, Warped Tour, that was a big one, getting wasted every night, smoking fucking weed all day, doing a little bit of booger sugar, like, it just kicked off.
Literally.
But it was the lifestyle. That's what you did. You know, it was like, it was just super
Rockstar lifestyle, man.
It was, but it's like, I wasn't a rock star, but when you're living that life and all these people, it's like, yeah, I felt like a fucking rock star. And I feel like we lived it. Like we lived it probably harder than most rock stars, dude. It was cool.
Facts, man. I mean, you even look at the people that are surrounded like with rock stars, like whatever, right? They live that rock star lifestyle, and you being so young, dude, it's really easy to get drawn in on that, man. I can only look at my own life, bro. Like, started smoking weed at 14 years old, you know, partying, eating mushrooms and taking ecstasy every fucking weekend, going to raves. I was 14, 15 years old rolling balls, bro. The fuck? That's just bonkers. But it's the life that I was thrown into. It's the life that you were thrown into, right?
We lived it up. Like,
but I mean, you definitely, I mean, fucking dude, 17, 18 years old, traveling around doing Warped Tour.
And we were like getting wasted all night, jumping like huge, you know, doing our shows. And like what we did, it was pretty hardcore. Like it was on cement, you crash. And this is like the first ramp to ramp demos, you know, jumping over the half pipe, coming back to the bus, getting wasted, smoking, going out, picking whatever chick you want, bringing her in the bus, dude. Like it was rock and fucking roll, dude. We had the best time of my life. Straight up. Dude. And then the next year they had us back, the year after that. So I did it 3 years in a row, and every year it just got better. And I mean, I could really write a book about the shit, because every single night it was the biggest party ever.
Yeah.
And you know, just so much shit went down. And then we did Warped Tour in Australia. It was just a really good time. Like I love that. It's such a family on Warped Tour, and just all the bands, like you just become really good friends. I mean, it's like a straight family, because you're on tour for 2.5 months. Everyone has each other's back. It's just amazing. Like you go ride, then like, all right, Bad Religion's on. Then right after we'll go watch Me First, and they give me, Pennywise, No Effects. Like, I mean, just you would just go every night, every day, dude. It was unreal.
And
they're still my favorite bands, you know, like I have a lot of good friendships with all of them. And it's just, I pinch myself, dude. Like the friends I have, like all the dudes I look up to, and we're just friends. And like, I don't know, motocross, it gave me such a good life, dude.
Yeah.
It took me down some dark holes, but I did that on my own. And, you know, like, I don't know, fast forward, you know, like why down the road, why did I get into drugs? What happened in my life? Why did I completely burn my life to the ground from drugs? I had a great childhood. I have maybe a couple issues, but I don't know if it's just like you grow up and that's what you're in. You could probably just get addicted to the lifestyle and drugs.
Of course,
dude.
absolutely,
you know, like
100%. Dude.
I had a bunch of arguments with my counselors because they always wanted me to open up more, and I did open up about some things that have happened to me in the past couple of years. But why did I turn into this? Like, dude, at age 16, when you just get thrown into your dream and you just go for it, it's just a lifestyle, dude. And I was just stuck to it.
Bro,
partying.
Have you heard that song? It's like by Justin Bieber. It's like that song "Lonely" or whatever.
Somebody sent me that.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, 2 minutes or whatever. And it's like, it's actually sad, dude. Like, you know, because this young boy, right, at that time was thrown into this just ungodly fucking amount of fame, right? And everything's just down his throat, and just like all this crazy shit happens, right? But take a sliver of that, right? And that's what you had, right? And what I mean by that is you're a boy, dude, 15, 16 years old,
and I didn't
right?
know who I was at the time.
Exactly. You know? Exactly. I mean, we see these people, we look up to them, we want to emulate them, and that's that, right?
Yeah.
And that's neither here nor there, but you know, I don't know the deepest issues in your fucking core, right? But if I just look at that at face value, makes sense why you get into drugs.
Yeah, I mean, that's all that life was back in the day in motocross. It was very rock and roll, and you know, everybody knows it in the early days of freestyle motocross. In the Metal Militia, Brian Deegan, Larry Linkhogel, they have this group called the Metal Militia.
Yep.
I was so bumped on them. I was just always intrigued with the bad dudes, you know, like all the people doing like the good shit. I'm like, fuck those pussies,
like,
dude. Like,
that.
the guy, like when they're like flipping the crowd off, like getting into trouble, I'm like, I want to do that. That is so fucking rad. That was like just me.
Yeah.
And then, we clicked up. That's when I met Twitch and Bo Manley.
I want to before we get to that, right?
Okay.
Right? Because I'm going to take a quick break because I do have to take a piss, right? Okay. Right? But I want to before we get to that point, because I want to kind of link a couple things together.
Perfect.
And I will be right back.
Perfect.
Sorry for busting this up in the middle of a good flow. No, you can go. And we're back.
We're back.
Hey, Gavin Newsom. Fuck you.
Fuck you, Gavin Newsom. I love this shirt.
God damn, bro. Yes. Do you see that? Zoom in on that. Zoom in on that shit. Get over there. Yes. A capital F-U, Gavin Newsom. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard that here. Yeah, man, the whole shit.
We don't want to get into the Newsom,
Yeah,
dude.
fuck
Let's
that.
stay away from politics. I think we're on
Agreed.
the same level, but let's just leave it alone.
Yes, yeah, agreed. All right. And we're back.
We're back.
I hear something beeping.
Sounds like a fire alarm. Should we go now? should we get
And the podcast is done.
Well, we'll see you
Let's
guys
go
next
rest. All right.
The pizza's done.
So, before I want to talk about the Metal Militia days and all of that stuff, right? You did Warped Tour, right? For 3 years, you did it in Australia, right?
Yeah.
Looking back at that experience, right? Is that what you were trying to tell to your counselor, that it is those moments that led you down the rabbit hole?
I think it's still hard because, like I said, when you have a really messed up childhood and like all these traumas, it's very it's easier to grasp what led you to drugs and everything. I didn't really have any dark shit, but there's a couple little things about like abandonment issues, always like never want to be alone, but I think that comes from like always being in the spotlight, and always like it was always hard for me doing these shows and everything, like being around all these people. Everybody want to be around you. Everybody want to like hang out. And then like when the lights go off and you're just all alone, that was scary for me.
Yeah.
Like that. So that was kind of a big deal, but I don't know. Like I said, it's not as hard as if you had a really jacked up childhood, So I really feel that, yeah, when you just get thrown into the lion's den, dude,
that's it, man.
and that's all you do, but I liked it. And that was,
of course,
the hard, I didn't realize it, but it was like a full blown, I was an addict. I don't know how I became one, but like I liked it. I had fun drinking. I had fun smoking weed. I had fun doing coke and raging all night, dude. It was a blast. But it wasn't like I was doing it like going behind the fucking the trash can to go meet my drug dealer. You know what I mean? Like trying to put this like this picture in people's head when they think, how dark it get. It was like, dude, rock and roll. People coming up, wanting to party, and so it just, everything came to me, and it was a lot of fun, dude.
Dude, it was a beautiful experience.
It was a beautiful, like everything. It was like the drug days. It was rad.
Yeah.
It wasn't like how dark, what a lot of people, that's what I'm trying to say. Like when you picture it, how dark it could be. No, it was a lot of fun.
But I think
it got dark.
Very
fucking dark.
Yes, and I don't doubt that. But it always starts out fun though, right? I think always, right? I mean, you talk about any person, that's had addiction issues, it always starts out fun, man. It was
so much fun. I remember the first time I did like cocaine, not the first time, but it was like doing with Fat Mike from the lead singer NoFX. After he did, like it was him, me, and Bo Manley in New York at some bar. It was just me, and we were just doing robes. So that was my experience. Like the first, it was so fucking rad, and just like rapping out. So that's what I mean, dude. It was like the coolest times, the early days, and and then I think that's what you do. You always try and mimic those moments, how rad it was, and you try and do it. It doesn't work. You keep doing it. You know what I mean? It's just
of course, it's just, but yeah. When I was, I guess in whatever, 2000, I would have been like, 15 or 14, whatever the hell it was. If you told me that I could be doing lines with Fat Mike anywhere, dude, I'd have been in.
Yeah.
I would have been fucking in. Are you serious? NoFX was like, they're like gods to me.
Yeah.
So,
me too. And it was
but you were partying with them.
Yeah, but I didn't realize at the time because I had this persona I had to hold up, so I didn't even like really grasp it. I knew it was cool, but I didn't. Looking back, I'm like, damn, I wish I could have just took it in a little bit more. I think that's what everybody says when they get older.
Dude. I think you took it in just fine.
I did. I made the most out of it. That's 100% for sure. And I think a lot of people think, I know for a fact, like I went way too far because there's so many nights. Like I was a blackout drinker. I did not know how to stop. So blackout every night. It was fun at first, but then like I said, it got darker. More
Just
dark.
yeah. Well, how was it like though when you would be, 18 years old, 19 years old, going on these 2.5 month trips and then coming back to reality? Like, what was that like?
It was cool, but that's like the problem, like I remember Warped Tour, my dad picked me up, and then I was still living at my dad's and just coming back to my room and like hanging out with my buddies. It was cool, but it was fucking hard. And then I'd always be like, I already knew everything. I knew about like, if you get wasted, you take a Xanax the next day, you take Coke. Like, so I knew the formula,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to stop, dude. So that's like, it was, I met a couple buddies that were selling pills, got the pills, started doing, instead of like just drinking with my buddies, I drink and do Coke, it was like, because I knew it. I knew what it was about. It was,
I mean, but it's I mean, those experiences, man, it's fucking crazy. I could only think, for me, right, if I was going and just like traveling and fucking going everywhere like a goddamn rock star, right, and then having to come back and sit in my room at my dad's house with my high school friends, I would be like, this sucks.
It was hard. My dad never knew how the party. I kept it, they didn't know what was up. They just saw I was doing really good, making a lot of money coming home from summer tour,
So you were, because you were still in high school when it first started?
Yeah, then we, before that happened, I was in 10th grade. I started to do homeschooling because I was in a different state or country every week. It was like, and I was making good money.
Jeez.
So yeah, I did that. And then I don't know how it happened. I think my dad forgot too, but like, I stopped doing that. Because I was doing so good. That was like the pinnacle of like when I was doing good, making so much money. We're like, well, we'll figure school out later. I don't know. I did get my GED at age 30.
There we go.
I came back, dude. I did really good on it too. I was proud of that. But yeah, I stopped, but I mean, I was doing really good. And and this is back to what I was saying. This whole freestyle motocross, it wasn't even a sport. It was like just new.
Nah,
it was
dude,
so hot back in the day. Like people want to do video games, commercials, like every single week, just like checks coming in, offers, traveling. It was crazy. It was a crazy time, because like I said, there's only a handful of us. Now, I mean, everybody's a freestyle motocross rider, there's so many people, and like what they're doing now, it's so unreal. But we were at a time when we were like every single weekend, it was a new trick. It was like the Superman seat grab. It was so cool. I was doing before the backflip. I was there when Carey Hart did his first backflip. So just to see a sport really become born, like from when it was nothing. I was at the first contest when they had the first ramp. It's really cool looking back, so thinking crazy. I like I said, I didn't know how big it was going to get, but being there, seeing all that, going to like all these, it's really cool to say I was part of kind of history, I guess.
No, 100%, man.
It was rad.
I mean, to see how big it has grown from how small it was and being
very
at the
small.
forefront of that.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, can you even look back and think like, what was it that made you start jumping the jumps a little bit bigger and pushing it farther? Like, what was it?
It was everybody because it was so new. And like,
no. But before that, before you even started touring, before you started making a name for yourself, like, why did you even?
It all started from my dad taking me that race, and then BMX was a huge deal. Like, I had so many ramps, and my dad was so supportive of this too. We had so many ramps, wood ramps at my house every day after school. My Cedar Glen and Moore Park, a lot of people know, it was popping off. I had like dads and moms come. I would like jump over. I was like a stunt little Evil Knievel on a BMX. How far I could get the ramp. I remember the biggest I jumped like 12 kids or something. Like I had a picture of it, Polaroid. Just jumping kids, just going super big on my BMX bike. How big I can go.
You were that kid.
Yeah, I was 100% that kid. It was cool. And then I just like jumping. I don't know.
What was it like? What do you think it is? Like there are just unique people that just have this thing in them. Like, I don't know. Like, you can always look at like that one kid at high school that was just like that one crazy fucker that could jump the biggest jumps. And
yeah, I don't know, because I was never like, I feel like I wasn't that crazy kid. Like I was a really good kid. Never, I don't know. Just when it came to anything with two wheels, I'd just like to see go
just
big.
something. Yeah, that's so fucking cool, man. Okay. All right. So we're at the point, right? I want to talk about Australia, right?
Yeah.
Was that the first time you went out of the country? Like not Mexico, but like,
I believe that was Yeah, it probably would have been. It was amazing.
What was that like,
amazing.
man?
It was amazing. We had like little tour buses out there. We did the whole Australian tour. Went to Brisbane, Melbourne, like every hot spot. And we did the whole country.
Jeez.
It was just amazing. One of those things I couldn't even grasp it, is that we were just doing it.
Yeah.
You know, Pennywise was on tour. I think Rancid, MXPX. It was just a really great tour. You know what? I really don't remember that tour a lot because I remember there's one guy, some scatter kid. He like every time we saw, we'd get like I think Valium or Somas, and I think those kind of ruined it for me.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, we were on. Yeah, so I know we had fun. You know, I did everything we did the shows. We killed it. But yeah, I think the Valiums really made me forget a lot about that.
Yeah, well, the Valium, especially the Soma, dude, fucking get you blackout quick.
And then when you get hurt, they have this thing. It's big in Australia. Instead of like popping morphine or like pain pills, it's a sucker. Or it's not a sucker. It's this thing you suck on, and it's like a vaporizer, and you suck on it, and you see dudes like it even has a necklace so you can wear it on your chest, and you would just suck on it. That's like morphine hits.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
Wait, what?
It's really cool. I'm telling you. Then I went back to Australia and Manly broke his wrist, and he had a couple of those. Yeah, it's like this little vaporizer, like little stick, and you just suck on it. Yeah, who would have thought?
Wait, what? And it's morphine?
Yeah, morphine, some opiate, yeah. Really cool.
Wow. The things they think of.
Yeah, I know.
Fucking
who would have thought?
Morphine vaporizers and fentanyl lollipops.
Yeah.
Jesus
and
Christ.
I keep on talking about it. There's so many great times, like so many amazing times riding my bike. And that's what it was all about, riding my bike. Yeah. But what's sad is like the further I go down this road, like I would start, drugs became a bigger deal.
When do you think?
And I forgot the love of fucking riding. I forgot that like I fulfilled my dreams. I'm living it. I could fully like focus 100% on riding, but no, the scene, the style, that's what I started to get in love with, you know?
Yeah. When did it start getting dark?
Down the road, I lasted a while. I think like when the backflip came around, you know, everybody really stepped their game up because that's when a lot of people saw like, shit, this is what we're going to have to do to still be in the game, is do this backflip. After Carey Hart did it at the 2001 Gravity Games, Metzger did it at an X Games, and that's when the whole sport really took a turn. Like now it's like life or death. If you want to continue to be irrelevant in this sport, you're going to have to flip a 230-pound motorcycle. I know everyone's doing it now, but back in the day, it wasn't like that. It was crazy. And overnight, you literally saw half of the guys drop out and just like leave the sport. Wow. It was really heavy. And I never wanted to even be a part of it. I never even didn't even cross my mind. I'm like, no, I ain't doing that. Not because I was scared, but I don't know. Like for me, it wasn't always. This is when contests really got big. But for me, I never got into freestyle to do like good in contests. It was like, that's why I didn't like racing, structured events. I just wanted to go big on my bike and show off.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what it was about. So I don't know. I just kept it going, doing what I was doing. But me and Manly at this time, I had a name for myself. Like I linked up with Twitch. He was my best friend, Bo Manly. We came out with his movie, The Adventures of Twitch and Scummy, which we had cameras on. Our buddy bought me and Twitch cameras, little handheld, and we took those on Warped Tour and everything. We made a movie. Like we were just fucking around. Like we had all this footage. We're like, let's make a movie, and we would all edit it together. Porno Dave is his name, Dave Dawes. He was our like good friend. We just hang out. He's the guy that lives up here in Santa Clarita at the cabin off the old road. He had this huge sick cabin, 230 acres. We'd go up there, ride all the time. Carey Hart and Pink would come up and ride. I mean, everybody would come here. It was just the most amazing spot ever. I don't know if I can draw a picture to like explain to people. It was fucking amazing.
Damn, dude.
Really cool. Anyways, he used to be a porno editor. That's why we gave him the nickname Porno Dave. Yeah, there it is. So he had all this editing equipment. That's when he bought us the handheld cameras, and we just filmed everything. And we're like, let's just make a movie. Let's see what it does. He's already made a couple dirt bike movies before this. And then, we're like, let's name it Adventures of Twitch. I mean, it blew up. It did really good. It was
I remember.
Yeah, it was just our lifestyle. And so that got my name. Then my name was Scummy. Like the real story how I got my name Scummy is on Warped Tour, the Long Beach Dub All-Stars, formerly the guys from Sublime. their roadie was like this guy, like couldn't even fucking talk straight. He was like the Tasmanian devil. I don't know if he was like kind of fucked up in that or he was just like so fucked up every day. Like he was a character, dude. We would die. Me and Manly would just like hang out with him, like fucking. He was a fucking character. Just, I can't even explain it. His name was Scummy. He's the original Scummy. Yeah. He was really lived by it. He was real scummy. Like the name and like his whole life. It was a whole different level. I don't know how I can even explain this guy. But Manly, he was like our buddy on tour. We would just laugh at him and like laugh with him, whatever. And Manly's like, dude, you gotta fucking make Scummy live. Like we gotta call you Scummy. And then that's how it started. And you know, on Warped Tour, I went big. Like partying, I didn't really care. So like I kind of lived, it kind of fit me, I guess. Yeah. The lifestyle, not like being dirty, but like just fucking being on Warped Tour. Yeah, maybe a little dirty. Who knows? Yeah. Just rock and roll. And then that movie came out. It stuck. But that's like back in the day, like it was so cool. Freestyle was cool because everybody had characters. You had Metal Militia, Brian Deegan, the bad boy, Travis Pastrana, the good guy, Flying Hawaiian, fucking Tomcat Clowers, and I was Scummy. Twitch has Tourette's. He was Twitch. It was just it fit, you know. And then like the more, you know, it just got big. So then I just went with that. How did we talk about?
I don't even remember. But hold on. So
not a lot of people know that story about the fucking Long Beach Dub All Stars. I'd have to almost say that I know for a fact he's dead. Like there's no way he's still alive.
I don't even mean to start laughing.
No, he's got to be.
That's fucked up. That's crazy though. That's how you got your name.
Yeah. If people knew me now, like I'm not OCD, but like my house, I love mopping. I've always been that way. I'm super clean, organized. I'm so far from it, but like definitely lived that life for a long time, I guess.
How was this before you teamed up with like Metal Militia and Deegan and?
Yeah, I was already kind of teamed up with him, you know, but this is like Metal Militia when we were like spray painting Metal Militia on our t-shirts. It wasn't even a thing, you know, it was just like the bad boys.
Before it blew up.
Yeah. And that was like another thing that like kind of led me where doing drugs and being a complete dickhead and like breaking the rules was acceptable because we're in the fucking Metal Militia. And back in the day, it was like, almost like kind of Hell's Angels. Like we had all our Hell's Angels and like fucking biker dudes. They were our security guard. I did so much shit. I don't think I ever really got in a fight that whole era. Like no one ever tried to fight me. And the things I did, I should be dead from people wanting to kill me. You know what I mean? But
Jesus.
Like, it was just like, we're unstoppable. We could do whatever we want. Like it was so fucking cool. Yeah. You know? Like we had it was Motley Crue. Like I watched Motley Crue, I'm like, dude, yeah, that was fucking us. Like it was really cool in that early days and it was just a lot of fun, man.
And how old were you at this time? Like
18, 19. You know, I got my first this is when I got my first DUI after left some movie premiere. I had Tyler Evans, he was in the Metal Militia, me, Twitch, Bo Manlin. We were just driving down Hollywood Boulevard. I didn't even throwing beer bottles out, like trying to hit cars, like fucking just did not give a fuck, dude. And got my first DUI. You know, just didn't care.
And so going through all of this, right? Before you did that video, right? Had the backflip come out yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so the backflip came out. You're like, I don't want to fucking do this.
Yeah, a lot of yeah.
And so, what happened next? Like, because like you said, it's like. And even Metzger said this is like half the fucking people just fell off, dude.
Oh, I started doing I did a couple really big jumps, like a 200-foot jump in
Jesus.
In Temecula, no, Lake Elsinore at Manny's. But I was like the first guy to ever do that. So then that really blew me up. I had a lot of like big parts in movies. Like I did this jump before any of the top dudes, even like Jeremy McGrath saw it. Nobody hit this jump. Nobody. And I was doing it for months. And then like my name kind of got big. For like shit, this kid's like going for the big shit.
Yeah.
And then I just started doing really big jumps. So it like kind of kept my name in the game, you know?
And so you were able to kind of work around that.
Yeah, I worked around it really good. You know, I didn't have the success a lot of my buddies do. You know, they're all millionaires.
Yeah.
And it bums me out if I would have just stuck to it and really focused on riding, practice, and getting better. I mean, it kills me. I've had a lot of issues dealing with that, seeing it. But, you know, what if I would have not done drugs and really focus on riding and I do a backflip and I get paralyzed?
Yeah.
You know, like you never know. And I've had the best life ever. Like all the things I've been through, like to this point, and like some of my worst things has made me such a strong person and like made me realize who I am, my issues. So like it all worked out. If I had to do it all over again, I would do it exactly the same, minus a couple things. But like for the most part, I would do it all over.
Yeah.
It really made me a better man and a better person. Realize what my issues are and shit.
Dude, anything is possible, right? Anything. And yeah, hindsight once again is 2020. When you did that video, with Twitch,
yeah,
right?
Adventures of Twitch and Scummy.
What came next after that?
Oh man, just so many events.
Did you find success from that?
I guess maybe, I don't know, because we were just doing stuff every single week, you know, like commercials, traveling, like we just blew up. It got my name big with. It was hard to see it at the time, but I mean, every single week we were doing stuff. My name was hot. All our names, you know, we were like best friends with our other heroes, the Cottonmouth Kings.
Yep.
They were our brothers, dude. Like D-Lo got my name tattooed on him. I got his name tattooed on me. Like we were like homies, like all of us. And me and Twitch, we were big weed smokers. These guys were like our fucking heroes. Like, I remember we did a jump show and like the Cottonmouth, and this is back in the day when they were really big.
Yeah.
And we knew Richter and D-Loc were there, and we were tripping. We're like, shit, Twitch, they're here. And like, they were tripping, we were here. And we just blended so good. We were like, we became best friends, and we started doing stuff with them. And then we got in with SRH, and then we started to feed off each other doing events, like all this stuff. I mean, it's just so hard to like look back all the stuff we did.
Dude,
Even
it's
like
so
with that, I was doing shit every week. So yeah, I mean, my name just progressively got big, you know?
It's so crazy because if you would have told me back in the day when all that shit was happening to you, right? Because dude, I was looking up to you guys, I just respected everything that you guys did, and it was just like fucking hell. And then you'd say like flash forward, you know, decade or whatever, you'd be sitting down having a podcast with Scummy. I'm like, yeah, fucking right, dude. So it's like, you know, everything that we go through in life, dude, you don't know where it's going to lead you, right? But you know, in that moment, did you appreciate what was happening?
Not really. I mean, I did, but like, it seemed like I was just so pumped to just ride and fuck off and do drugs.
And just
truthfully.
And so was the drug issue becoming a problem at that point?
It's weird because that whole time I never even knew what like drug addiction was, or like I'd never even heard of the word sobriety, because why would I need to know that? Like I was doing great. I was making money. I was traveling. Partying was just never an issue, but everybody was partying. And I think it wasn't as bad because I didn't really find the opiates yet.
Yeah.
You know, but looking back at it, I was fucking high or drunk every day.
Yeah.
But I still rode so good. Like me and Twitch taking 4-foot bong rips, hitting that 200-foot jump all day long. You know, it was amazing. Crazy. And like on Warped, I remember just waking up, me and Manly sweating from the night before, doing coke and drinking, waking up, riding great. I say that we actually did ride good, but like not at our full potential. I could get the bike upside down, do all my tricks, but I was never really excelling, never really wanting to take it to the next step. I was always like doing what I had to do to like complete a show.
Yeah.
Just do enough just to like be there. But then as time goes by and like, okay, this is all he's got. Everyone else is like so far ahead, and like, fuck, you know, at the time it lasted a long time. I was cool with it. You know, like it was a lot of fun. It really was, you know, like I think I brought this up in rehab. Like everyone's talking about, you know, drugs. I'm like, you know what? I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. But then you weigh those options out, like all the dark shit, a lot more darker shit. We're just talking about like the early days, and it was a lot of fun.
The early days, right? The early days.
Yeah.
When did it start to become? When did you when did the dark come over?
Because that was like the early days. It just got, you know, like when everybody started to really do good, everyone started like Twitch. He found a chick, and he was my brother, dude. He was my road dog. He found a really good girl. He started to do really good. He started doing backflips. And I was still doing my same thing, still partying. That's when we kind of split up. We didn't split up, but like he just started to focus on his riding, started to make a lot of money. And I was kind of stagnant, just doing my same thing. Started hanging out with shadier people. Not shadier, but like when you're in the eye, it's like you attract people. Like people that just want to hang out just to be in the scene. They know I like partying. So these are the guys that'll come up with the drugs, the pills, just to hang out.
Yeah.
They weren't with me for my best interest to see me do good. They just wanted to bring drugs and be in the crew, you know? Man, I don't know. I just stayed on that path. I really just stayed on that path when everybody else was doing a lot better. And then, you know, I remember linking up with some people. One of my sponsors, I'm not going to say his name, but like he started sponsoring a lot of us with pills and weed. You know, he would get every month, he'd give us a paycheck, a bag of Valium, a bag of Xanax, bag of Norcos, and a fucking half pound of weed. That was our payment. At the time, it was fucking rad,
Wow.
you know, like with the cash.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And that just like over time, it would get worse. I didn't see it at the time. Yeah. You know, it would just like, okay, now I'm taking more and more. I don't know what withdrawal is because I'm like consistently, everybody's giving me shit. Yeah. I didn't even know what withdrawal is. I didn't even know I had a problem. You know, started blacking out more. So I think people started to see it got little worse. And then, I don't know. Really, I think it really got bad. I linked up with one of my high school friends, and he had a doctor in Van Nuys, and he was always come back with all these pills. Hook me up, like, dude, what's up? And he was selling them, making a lot of money. I'm like, yo, let me see, get me connected, whatever. Like, not to sell them, but just like, how are you getting all these? It was like, looking back, it was the worst deal. Dr. Bass is his name. This guy killed a lot of people, a lot of kids. He was so gnarly, and I feel so bad how just twisted a lot of these doctors are, but he was right. And I'd go down there, line of kids out the door, dude. And this is before like the DEA, is that what it is? It started popping. Yep. He was writing 125 I went in there, I just had a bad shoulder, like it hurt. Okay, you're gonna need 125 Norcos, 80 Somas, and 90 Xanax bars every 2 weeks, and I want you to come back and take these. So in my head, a doctor's telling me this. I'm getting these. That's when it got bad. So that went on for like 6 months, whatever. And then I remember me and Bass, my best friend at the time, high school buddy, and he was my good friend. Like, he got me, but he had an issue too, so he didn't know he was really ruining me, and I didn't know I was ruining myself. But I remember we went to go fill up a script, and he'd always like pass out and like snore super loud, like at my house when he'd spend the night, just from like passing out. I remember on the way home, we went to go fill up the script, and he was like snoring super deep, but it was really, really deep. I'm like, what the fuck? Bass, wake up, slap him. I'm like, all right, whatever, he's passed. I've seen this before. It's blasting the music. We drove like 2 hours home. I got out, and I think I fell asleep. I had somebody driving me, and I got out, and we tried to wake up, I'm stiff as a board. He fucking OD'd and died in my truck. And that was heavy. Wow. Super heavy. He died. And then like a month later, the DEA, they came after Dr. Bass, and he hung himself in his office. It was a big story. Like, this guy, like, yeah, he opted out because he knew he was going to get into a lot of trouble. So he committed suicide. And I know like 3 of my other buddies died from this doctor. Yeah, sad, because he was prescribing oxys. Mm-hmm. So yeah, at that time, you know, it didn't really like phase me, even like Bass dying, because you don't really show a whole lot of emotion. I was like tripping, trust me. Like, my buddy dying in my truck.
And how old were you?
Probably like 23, 22, maybe.
And had your addiction gone full blown at that point?
Yeah, I was still riding, but it got to the point where now I'm just focused about how I'm going to get like the pills. How am I going to, you know, and it's really sad. You know, I talk about this whole conversation. We've been talking a lot about drugs. There's a lot of good times, but there's a big part of my story that's like the main reason I want to do this is like sobriety and all this, you know? So anyways, yeah, it just got bad. Then I remember, my buddy introduced me to a Roxy 30. He's like, you don't got to take 8 Norcos. You could just snort one of these. I'm like, I threw up the first time. I'm like, that was horrible. And I didn't realize how cool it made me feel. Like, I like those. And then that's when it got bad. Because now it's like you're spending $10 on a pill. I was doing like 10 of them a day, snorting them. And that's when it's like, it was just off to the races. You know, that's where it was all about the opiates. And it was sad because that's when people really started to see it was getting bad. You know, we were filming a TV pilot show, a TV show pilot for Metal Militia for MTV. And we've been filming for like maybe 5 months. And I remember maybe like 2 weeks after base died, everybody knew the story. So they knew I was like part of that. They didn't know I was going to the doctor, but I think a lot of them realized. A lot of people started to get really worried for me that I was going to be that next guy. And I remember Brian Deegan called me and say, hey, listen, you got to come to my house because we're filming for the pilot. We need you over here. So I went to El Torito, got cranked up, started drinking, whatever, and I went over there. Dude, it was so sketchy. Not sketchy, but for me, it was sketchy. I got in, and it was the biggest intervention for me.
Oh my God.
But it was a gnarly intervention, like Twitch, Deegan, Fletcher from Pennywise, Byron, like from Pennywise. All these guys, like big dudes, my good friends were there. And I got in, and I'm like fired up, like, what are we doing? And everybody was dead silent. And it was crazy.
Wow, man.
They would have bought me. They offered to take me to rehab, pay for it. And I said no. I'm like, no, I want to be good. I'll go to an outpatient rehab. I'll do it my way. You know, like, you guys have to trust me. I'm good. They like accepted it, but they were bummed. And then I went to an outpatient rehab, going to meetings. But I wasn't ready. I still didn't know anything about sobriety. And you know what? I didn't have anybody to look up to that was sober. I didn't even know about sobriety. And that's why I feel like I got to do what I do, because you got to look up to somebody, not like look up. You got to have some sort of motivation. I didn't know anything about sobriety. I didn't know anybody that's gotten sober. I didn't even know what it was about. I wasn't ready. So I would like go get fake piss. I'd like go to AA meetings, like speak and go to the bathroom and snort Roxy's, like, you know, tell my chick and my mom, dude, I'm doing so good. I just got out of a meeting.
Crazy.
It is crazy. It's like, but I wasn't even in the game. I was like down the road. I kind of doing a little bit of the same thing. Not really, but I didn't have a foot in. I was just doing it to please everybody else. And then, it still got bad. Got a DUI, second DUI, on pain pills.
Wow.
Yeah, it pulled me over for a light. It wasn't like I was intoxicated, but I had my pills. I got a DUI. Started getting arrested more for blacking out at shows and everything. I think people just started to realize, like, dude, it was becoming a problem.
How long after the intervention did that happen?
The DUI?
Yeah.
Maybe like a couple months. But I just kept it going, like just starting to black out more. I was always kind of blacking out, but just always like, dude, I was just going for it, you know? Riding less. My riding wasn't getting as good. I wasn't even focused on riding. It's really sad. At the time, I didn't even see it. I had a long relationship at the time, about 8 years, and that went south. I blacked out at it was my birthday party. This club did a birthday party for me, flyers and everything. It was cool. I show up, and this is like the last stage of my relationship. She was kind of really getting over it. Like, she wanted me to get clean, and I was just doing shady stuff, like lying to her a lot, cheated on her a couple times, because I was just all over the place. It was like something out of a movie. After that night, my birthday at this club, we come home and I fucking pass out. Apparently, I don't remember, but I wake up and her house is completely fucking empty, dude. Something out of a movie.
What?
No, I'm telling you everything. She left me the bed. I don't blame her. And I've made my amends to her not too long ago. I said, like, I brought that story. It was fucking amazing. I guess she had her family come.
While you were passed out?
Yeah, but I passed out for a while. But yeah, I guess they were like moving shit around me. I didn't wake up. I woke up and it was just me and Lenny, my dog. And like, I woke up, headache. It was something out of a fucking movie, dude.
What the fuck went through your head, bro?
Oh, I was tripping. And then, she didn't pick up for long. But it hurt. But like, at the time, I wasn't even like, I was heartbroken, but I couldn't even feel the emotions. Because at that time, I was just worried about like getting something so I didn't have to feel hungover and then carry that on to feel good that night. It's crazy what drugs do, man.
It's so weird, right?
When we go back, how fun it was the first couple times, and you just get darker, lose shit. I lost a love. I lost, like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, because, dude, you were with her for 8 years.
A long time.
That's nuts.
It was, but looking back at it, the whole time I was like, it was in my prime of just partying and like living that style. So like, looking back, it's just crazy in a relationship. Like, if you're not 100% sober where you can actually communicate and like actually say I love you, you know, like from the heart, it's not real. I know I love her, like, but you know what I mean?
Of course.
Living that life to being like 100% sober, like, it takes a real man, even going out, like talking to a chick. If you're like, you got a couple drinks in you, like, it's almost kind of fake. Are you going to do that if you're not? You know, like if you can go up to somebody, have a civilized conversation, I just love being 100% sober, dude. It like really shows who you are.
As a person. It does.
Because if you're drunk, a lot of things come out. You're a little bit more risky.
Of course.
Say a lot more shit. Like, would you be saying that? You know, like you don't know.
No, you don't. And, you know, when we go through these experiences, right, it's like, yeah, you know, would we say that if we were completely sober?
Yeah.
Like, probably not. Dude.
Yeah.
Probably not. But that's so fucking weird to think that you were passed out for that long and wait, you guys had a house together? What was?
It was a big condo. Yeah, it was a condo, but yeah, it was.
You guys had it fully furnished?
Fully furnished.
She took everything?
Everything. I believe, you know,
That's
take it
gangster.
back. There was a couch in there. She left a very couple small things, but everything. She brought her brother, her parents, a couple of friends, and they completely, she just wanted out of that relationship, like, I guess, fast, quick. And that was like the only way. I don't know.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. I'll tell you that. I'm not even lying. It was unbelievable.
Were you mad?
Not mad. I couldn't even like process it really. It's hard to like look back at that time. I just remember waking up with my dog and just like thinking what I'm going to do to get over this hangover and like, you know, and she wouldn't pick up for like a couple weeks.
Did you cry?
No.
Did you talk to your dad?
I did. I know I was like bummed, but I think I just and that's what I'm saying. I massed out with more drugs because it was a big deal. You know, I just didn't know how to process it the correct way. So I just fucking did more drugs. And it made me realize like, okay, I can get through problems, but if I do drugs, all my problems go away. They're not going away. At the time they are. I'm just piling more shit on that shit pile, but I don't see it right now. Yeah. So that's what I was doing. Then, you know, that's when the oxys were huge, but that's like kind of at the last stage where they're hard to get.
Yep.
And I did that. This is like, that whole story is like probably a 3-year run doing that. And then my buddy, some other guy, you know, he said, hey, this black tar substance, you can smoke this on tinfoil and it's way cheaper. So I did that. That's when I started smoking heroin. I hate that word, heroin, because it's like I was not grown up to do heroin. Yeah. So it's like a scary word, but like really wasn't. Yeah. I never touched a needle, but yeah, smoking heroin. I never like.
But that's kind of, I do have to ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
There's a difference, bro. And I don't think people realize this is there's a difference from smoking heroin to shooting up heroin.
Yeah.
It's night and fucking day. And neither is right or wrong, right? I'm not here to fucking judge, right? But I've lost so many friends from going down that road shooting up.
Shooting up's a whole different ballgame because you really can't OD from smoking
heroin.
You'll pass out before, and dude, thank God. Yeah. Because if I did one fucking needle, I would probably fell in love with it. Yeah. But I knew so many people were dying, and I don't know, I was fine with smoking it, so I'm very lucky.
You are, and that's my point. But I don't think a lot of people know that, and it's like nothing to brag or run home about. But it's like there
completely
are levels.
Different.
It's like there are levels to shit, right? It's like drinking an entire beer to fucking drinking fucking a shot of moonshine, right? It's like.
So I was never that dude like nodding off where I was just done. I was a functioning drug addict. You know, it would get like when alcohol came out, it got bad. But like for the drugs, the most part, I'm sure like looking back, slurring the words a little bit, but I was functional. I could like get through. I'd go ride, whatever. It just became it became a job, dude. Like to figure out how I'm gonna get the next sack. Oh, this is gonna last me this long. Oh, I got to ride tomorrow. I got to have. It just became a fucking.
How did you do that? How did you travel?
Oh, when I'd go to Australia, all these places, everybody had drugs on them. There's a couple times I carried. Oh, there's a story. I had. This was a fucking really dark story, dude. Not dark. It's just looking back. Told it a couple times. This was probably one of the craziest. This was at the last stage. I did Evel Knievel days in East Coast. I had to do this like 200-foot jump, 180-foot jump for Evel Knievel days. They had me come out. Well, this is when I was really like addicted to opiates, where I needed this to even function. So like without really focusing on what I have to do for this jump, I didn't even bring my bike. They had a bike for me. I was just figuring out like, okay, I need to fucking get some black tar heroin. I hate saying that. And make this last this whole time. So I brought heroin in the plane, cut it in my pants, hid it in there. And right when I got out, that's all I was thinking about. Not thinking about I have to do this huge jump on a borrowed bike, just thinking, okay, when I land, I'm going to do it. I smoked it all the day when I got there. Then I was screwed. Completely fucking screwed. I started to get really dope sick. My buddy, he was kind of partying with me. He's like, dude, I can't get this, but I can get crystal meth. You know, like, fucking, that wasn't even kind of my deal. So I did that up all night. I got drunk that night. I was supposed to do this, ride my bike in this parade for like the families and all this stuff for Evil Knievel days. I was in jail. Dude, I got arrested that night. I don't know what happened. The promoter picked me up so pissed. I was sweating, didn't even sleep, and I missed the parade. But then I had to do this jump that day. I just remember how horrible I felt. Thought I was dying from the night before, dope sick. Just got out of jail, and then I did this jump. I pulled it on this borrowed bike. It was Trigger Gum's bike, but we were having trouble start the bike. We had to put tie downs around the handlebars, tie it to a truck, and the truck was like driving so we can bump start it because it was a 450, and it wouldn't start. It was unbelievable. So I got it going. We couldn't kill it. I did this jump when I had to do. The promoter was so pissed, and I was getting paid a lot, so he just do the jump, whatever. Right when I landed, probably like another 30 feet, the bike seized up. The back tire locked up. Dude, I landed and then locked up. It was, people were tripping, but like, just to like go through the whole story, like getting blasted, going to jail, waking up, promoter picking me up from jail, doing this big jump to like, if that bike would have seized another 20 seconds, I would have been fucking dead. And none of that fazed me. I just did it. I'm like, dude, the bike locked up. It seized. They took me there for it. I mean,
oh my gosh.
Motley Crue shit. And I don't know how I pulled it. It was just, that was kind of the life. Just really walking on thin ice. I don't know how I'm not dead. A lot of that stuff, just put myself in a lot of dark issues, dark situations. Just really, I can go on forever and ever, dude. Like.
Did you burn a lot of bridges?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to Hawaii for this contest. Got really, it was another relationship, I guess. It was really bad. They got us, it was for the Pipeline Master. They had the Team DVS. We were on this. They got us a huge mansion, me, Deegan, Feist. I think Deegan, I don't know. I got really, really messed up that night. Me and my chick got in a huge fight. It was like bad to the point you wake up and they're not like, they're just tripping on you, like disappointed. Like, we can't even believe what, they kicked me off. They flew me home. I lost all my sponsors. My dad was so pissed. I think that's when my dad kicked me out because he knew it was becoming an issue. I got clipped from every one of my sponsors from that trip. I'd always land on my feet though. I got like new sponsors and whatnot.
Wait a minute, you got dropped from all your sponsors?
Yeah, I mean, it's a small industry, like word spread. And that was a big sponsor, DVS Shoes.
Yeah.
At the time, they had a big team. I was one of their main guys. So yeah, I mean, it was a big deal. Like, it was a big event for like, they had all the top surfers, skaters there. So I made a complete dick out of myself in front of a lot of the wrong people.
Wow.
So yeah, it just, and I never really, never knew what sobriety was. Never knew anything.
How old were you when that happened?
I don't even know, maybe 26, 27, maybe. Then I know I did pick up a book, The Heroin Diaries.
Yeah, it's a good book.
That was the only book I've ever read. And that's when I always loved Motley Crue, but that's when I really looked up to Nikki Sixx. And that's the first time I heard about sobriety. First time any of that. And like, he became like a big role model. I didn't even want to get sober.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's the first, shine a light that like, wow, he got sober and like he got his life back. It was such a big deal to me, Nikki Sixx.
Crazy.
At the time. It's funny because down the road, like 9 years later, like what you were talking about, I worked for a Recovery Today magazine, and I was a guy interviewing all these people, and I got to interview Nikki Sixx, me and him, and it was so cool because I got to tell him that story. Like, dude, I told him that exact story. Like, it's crazy that you and me are talking because you're my hero, and like how you got sober. You were the first guy to like show me like this thing about sobriety. It's like the small world. Seth Enzo being my hero, and then like he's my best friend now. Like it's crazy. Life's rad,
dude. That's fucking bonkers. How old were you when you read the Heroin Diaries?
Probably like 28. That's like when I was like doing heroin, doing all that, and then You know, it got bad. It got so bad to the point, you know, heroin was a thing. I started selling everything. Started selling all my, as a kid, I've always wanted like to have a house and have all my custom painted helmets like on a mantle, you know, like what all the pro dirt bike riders do. Started fucking selling for pills, selling for heroin. I didn't have anything. I had a house, a condo, an apartment, living at some chick's house, you know, bedroom, her renting, and it was just me and my little dog Lenny. I lost all my relationships, started losing everything quick. And it got so bad, like after I kind of depleted everything, getting money, losing sponsors. I didn't even know how to get money to get the next sack. It was an expensive habit, you know, like $1 a day. And over the next 2 years, it just got worse and worse. Like went downhill quick to the point it like ran out of options. I didn't know, like that's the first time I realized what dope sick was.
Yeah.
Wanted to die. And then I went to my buddies to go get some, and he had this like dust off computer cleaner, and he was huffing. I'm like, what's that? And I did that, and it got me so looped out. And I started doing dust off.
Jesus.
Like the shit you see on Intervention.
Jesus.
I watched an Intervention where that chick was on dust off. Back in the day, tripping like, what the fuck? How do you like?
Shut the fuck up.
This chick's crazy. You know, how do you do that? She's like, wah, you know, like that was me. I turned into that, dude.
Oh.
Because I realized I could start doing dust off, just get so loaded on this that I wasn't getting dope sick on heroin because I was getting that high. And so when I couldn't get like what I needed to get me through the day on heroin, I would just go to the CVS and go get dust off.
And it wouldn't make you dope sick?
Not as bad because I would just get so looped out on that pass out. It's like all this stuff, it's so hard for me to say because it's so disgusting. And like so many things, years and years led me to each point, you know, and there's a lot of good times, but like for the most part, yeah, it got bad. It got to the point where now I was like going to Best Buy, Target. I like a couple times I passed out in Best Buy, like full blown, like to see what drugs do to you, like how low they can get. Like I would never in a million fucking years think I'd like be huffing dust off. You know, like
you were
ever.
huffing it in the middle of Best Buy?
Yeah. Just right when I get there, just, you know, a couple little squirts. I did a couple. I remember waking up, bunch of people around me. I guess I passed out. I have no idea. Jesus. To the point, like now it's like, I don't even want to live anymore. Like really, it was just me and my dog. I just was so depressed. I locked myself in my room for a couple months. Didn't want to talk to anybody. I wish I was dead. You know, a lot of very dark times. And then, Metal Militia had me sign a contract, which was a big deal, you know, for like a kid from Moore Park, having a huge company want to re-sign a contract, I guess. Metal Militia. It should have been a really big deal.
Yeah.
It did every year, but what I'm saying, like, it wasn't. Went down there this day. It was like super dark. Signed it. I was so not even there. On the way home, I stopped at Best Buy. Get dust off to go home. It was like a 2-hour drive home. And this is so disgusting. I was driving around like this, you know, like I don't take this lightly. And then it took me like 5 hours to get home. I don't even know what I was doing. I went through the valley. I remember I went to a Target. The last thing I remember, I was in the parking lot huffing a can. Next thing, I know it. The next thing, I don't know if I passed down there or whatever, but I guess I drove and there's a huge intersection out there. And I just remember I woke up in the middle of the intersection. My hood was completely crushed in. I was on the side. I hit like a FedEx or UPS semi in the center of the intersection. I don't know if I was trying to go left and he hit. I sideswiped like 6 cars. It was a fucking chaos, dude. People were like tripping, screaming. I'm like, what the fuck? My car was still on. The only thing I think about was the dust off. Like it wasn't even the point. I was just, drugs completely took over me. Some guy like ripped me out. I was sitting on the side of the curb, and the whole time I was thinking, dude, like there's dust off in my truck. I didn't even think about it. I didn't hurt anybody. Thank God. And I feel that like I believe in God and everything, that all this shit I went through, I have a bigger purpose in life to like spread my story, to like help out as many people as I can, because I should have killed somebody. Yeah. I have many sleepless nights, still do, thinking about if I could have wiped a family. Oh my God. I don't even want to talk about it, but only thing I think about after all that chaos is where's the dust off. I went into my truck and everybody was there. The cops weren't there. I got the bag and I took it, and there's a Payless shoes like right there. I was just so out of it. I did dust off in Payless shoes. Then I hid the can in like one of the shoes, like tweaky as fuck, dude, in the Payless. hid in the shoe to try and hide it because I knew the cops were coming. I go out, the cops come, they do a field sobriety test on me. I passed everything. But the cops like, listen, I've been on the drug unit for 15 years. Like, we know you're fucked up. They arrest me, and then I was in the back of the cop car, I see a bunch of people saying, like, he went in that way. He went towards Payless, and then I saw the cop going to Payless, found the dust off, so they got me. I went to Twin Towers jail for like 4 days. Didn't even faze me. I felt like I've never been happier. I'm not a kid made for jail, but like in Twin Towers, I felt safe. Like, it was horrible.
What the fuck?
I just I didn't want to live anymore.
I get that.
My dad and my sister picked me up. That's when I started just fucking crying, dude. Like, I need help. That was the first time where I'm like, I need help. My sister, my dad, they weren't bummed. They just we didn't know it was this bad. I was very good at lying, keeping it from them. So yeah, the next week they got me into a rehab in Ventura. And I remember in detox there, when they dropped me off, like, I can't, this is like what you see in movies. Like, what? It was a trip, just replaying my whole life, how it led me here. And like, man, the first weekend, it was just the best time of my life. I woke up and I just saw life totally clear. I saw how blue the sky was, green. It was an amazing emotional experience. And yeah, I stayed in rehab for 30 days. I was so pumped and motivated. I stayed there for another 90 days in sober living. And I just started my whole life over. Yeah, it was cool.
How long ago was that?
That was in 2012. And then, yeah, man, I totally reset my whole life. I forgot who I was. It's crazy. Like, I was such a different person. I forgot I was even this dirt bike guy. I never had a job in my whole life. I just wanted to reset. I didn't want to ride anymore. But I didn't know what I was going to do. No GED, fully tattooed up, never got a job in my life. My buddy got me a job printing T-shirts. I remember where I lived was kind of far away, so my chick would drive me to my buddy's parents' house. I'd sleep in their side room because that's where my buddy still lived at the time. I would ride this mountain bike probably like 5 miles ago, print T-shirts all day. And this is after living this cool rockstar life. I've never been happier. Like, it was rad. Making minimum wage, printing T-shirts all day. And I remember getting a first check for like $200, how big of a deal that was for me. Damn. It was cool. That showed me like what making a dollar was about. And then, I did that for like a year and a half. Then my buddy hired me to start putting windows and doors in, just all this stuff. But then like people started to see like, wow, Colin's doing good.
Yeah.
And I kind of started like, I got my buddy let me borrow a bike, and that was the first time I rode sober, and I fell in love with it again. I fell in love with it again. It felt like when I was a kid, the love of riding,
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was just like a whole restart to my life. It was cool. And then started actually getting sponsors again. It was weird.
Seriously.
Not for doing contests, just for like, this guy's
being
doing
you?
good, we're gonna help him. Yeah, kind of being me. That's when I really started like spread the message of like sobriety. And it was cool. A lot of people backed me. So yeah, started working for a couple 3 years down the road. Worked for Recovery Day magazine. That's where like I interviewed Nikki Sixx, a lot of people. Me and my buddy Russ started a podcast talking sobriety. I just felt so passionate about it. Like everything I've been through. But the whole thing is I still didn't do any work. Like everything they taught me in rehab in 2012. I never did the steps. I never did the sponsors. I had so much self-will doing it my way. Like, dude, look at me. Like, I'm back. It was easy to stay sober. It really was. Like, it was fun. Like, I lost everything, dude. In rehab, I had 2 T-shirts and like a skateboard. I lost everything. So like coming out, getting like a new pair of shoes, getting a piece of shit truck to like selling that to get a little bit better truck, getting my first apartment with my chick, like doing all this stuff sober. It was fun. It was exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting, but I wasn't doing anything. I was spreading the message because I had a lot of fans. So it felt really good, and it felt like I was helping a lot of people, which I know we were. But looking back at it, I wasn't doing anything for myself. Not really doing what you're supposed to be doing in recovery. And that lasted about 5 years. Doing really great. I got like my whole life back. I like really built a name, started a couple businesses, became successful, dude.
Yes.
All with sobriety. Let's dive into it. Like 5 years. Not many people know the story, but I went to the dentist, and it was like the first test. I had a tooth pulled, and they said you want a prescription for Norcos. And I remember I didn't have a sponsor. I didn't know anything about, I knew about it, but I wasn't doing it. I'm like, yeah, I can do it because if you take them as prescribed, you're good. And I've been sober for 5 years. I can handle this for sure. And I did that. And I remember, man, I didn't tell anybody about it. I'm doing it my way. And I took those and like, it just came back. It didn't come back like full, but it did. It made me like, it triggered something in my head. I'm like, okay, after this, I got one more refill. I'm like, this is the last one, like whatever. And I wasn't like taking 5 at a time, just let them last. And then it's so crazy. Like then after that, I went to an urgent care to try and get a couple more. Then I found a buddy that would start giving to me. It's fucking crazy. And I didn't even think I had like a problem because it wasn't as bad as like how it was.
Yep.
And I'm still have my job. All these people look up to me, like all these people I'm helping, and it's so crazy. But I still carry the message of sobriety. Still saying I was sober because I did not, that my ego, there's no way I could let people know. I mean, we're going to fast forward a couple years, probably. I did that.
You were doing it like just like under the radar.
Under the fucking radar. Not many people know. I tried, and I knew I was addicted again. I had a chick for like this time, Ashley. I was with her I met her out of rehab in 2012. She knew how good I was doing. I was never like drooling. I was just taking them. Yeah, the whole time I was doing it. I couldn't believe I was there again. It was unbelievable. I got on Suboxone. Yeah. I found Suboxone, but they didn't tell me that it's like 9 times worse getting off Suboxone than the opiates. Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't think I had a problem because Suboxone, I did that for like a year. I tried to get off it a couple times and the withdrawals were so severe. I knew I was fucked. I knew like, what am I going to do?
How did you even do it?
I'm carrying the message. I'm getting paid a lot of money to go interview Danny Trejo, Nikki Sixx about recovery. I'd go to bed every night wanting to cry because I have nobody to reach out to. My sobriety date's tomorrow. If I don't go out there and do a post saying that I'm now 6 years sober, people are going to know that I'm fucked up or they're going to know what's up. So it's like, what do I do? So I carry on. I fucking bullshit everybody. But I knew it was such a big deal for me. Such a monkey on my back. I didn't know how to say that I fucked up, that I relapsed. I didn't even, it was the craziest shit ever. Looking back at it, it's so crazy.
Dude.
And then I see all these messages every single day. Everyone's like, dude, you're helping me so much. Your story, like you saved my life. And like all these people I got into rehab. So I'm like, well, fuck, I don't have a problem. In my twisted head, I don't even have a problem. I'm helping everybody. You know what I mean? There's no way I can like be open. So I just got to keep on doing what I'm doing because I can't let people know I fucked up. My ego's way too big. I was on Suboxone, yeah. And then, dude, it just got fucking bad. I started to like experiment how I could get off Suboxone. People reaching out to me, telling me how I did it. What they don't know is I was kind of asking them. Like,
so how'd they do it?
So when I'm trying to get off Suboxone, I look up to you for sobriety. So like, how have you done that? It's crazy. People that don't understand addiction, they probably think I'm a fucking tool. And I got a lot of people like a lot of people don't know the story. I think it takes a bigger man to like tell the fucking truth, dude. That's part of like my step 9 is making my amends. I feel I owe a lot of amends to a lot of people. But even though I was like, I knew what I was saying. I knew I was trying to help people. Just for me, I wasn't doing anything for me. So I got one of my buddies said, you know, he got me some Xanax. Maybe I can try and take little nibbles of Xanax. I can't take them how I used to because I'd be drooling on myself. I can't let anybody know. It turned into a game. I cannot let anybody fucking know. Looking back the way I looked, a little sucked up, but I played it off because I wasn't doing it to get fucked up. It was just that fine line of like, I know I'm fucked. I can't be dope sick. People are gonna know. I can't not say I'm not sober. It was
so how the fuck
some
did
dark
you get
nights
off of that?
Well, I remember I was going to work and I took a little piece of his Xanax, just normal, not trying to get fucked up, just trying not to get dope sick, and it was laced with fentanyl. And I didn't know what fentanyl was because that whole time I was 7 years since the first time I went to rehab. Missed the whole fentanyl game, you know, but I did it. I woke up in jail in my work clothes. Scariest thing ever. And this is after everybody thought I was doing so fucking good. And then Ashley, she fucking knew I was doing good, but I had to call her from jail. And that's when it came out. I've relapsed a while now.
How the fuck did you go to jail?
DUI. I was just in my truck, not driving. I was just there and I passed out and a cop was right behind me. I don't remember. I was at a job.
You driving?
I was driving my work van. I was parked And yeah,
What, you were parked?
I was at a job in my work van.
But you were parked.
Yeah, but I was like slumped over.
But you were parked.
Keys in the ignition.
But
DUI. Yeah, no.
listen, you shouldn't have been doing the fentanyl.
No,
exactly. I know you weren't doing
But
the
a lot of
fentanyl.
people-
You shouldn't have done that. But
I should no. I deserve the fucking DUI. I'm okay with it because if I would have passed out driving down the freeway, I accept that. I should be in jail. Like I'm fine with that. Like I did that on my own. You know, there's a lot of things that led me to it. I didn't mean to, but it doesn't matter. You know, like
sure, and you're taking accountability for it. But
100%. But no matter what, even drinking, if you are in your car and the keys in the ignition, you're drunk, DUI. No matter what. That's just like, I know that for a fact.
But if the car is on?
It could be, I think the keys in the ignition. I've been to DUI school way too much. Like I know that for sure. Not proud of that whatsoever. So anyways,
Okay.
got DUI. Yeah, it was, people were tripping. People could not fucking
Dude, so what the fuck
Dude,
happened?
people could not believe it. It's weird. A lot of people, I came clean on my Instagram. Like, it was very emotional for me. And I just put out there the world, dude. I relapsed. Nobody knows that. Everybody at this time still, until right now, everybody still thinks I had 7 years of sobriety. They don't know only had 5. That was one of the secrets I was going to take to the grave with me. And that time in rehab, when you let go, like through your steps and everything, you let go of all these like things that are weighing you down. But I held on to that. So like when I went to rehab, I really wanted to give it a shot, do the steps and everything. But looking back at it, I thought I got to like step 5. Looking back, I was still doing it with one foot in. I got a sponsor, but like I was holding on to a lot of shit. And so I wasn't really doing it correctly. I thought I was. So anyways, I go for only 30 days. Come out doing really good. I don't know how we can talk about this, Russ, but some things, this is like the beauty about Instagram. They don't see all the shit that goes on in my life. They don't fucking know. And I think there's a couple things I can leave out. But anyways, I was married for a long time. Just bought my first house right before that DUI. And that's what's crazy. Like it took so long from 2012. My credit was like a 200, dude. I couldn't buy anything with my credit, you know? I worked so fucking hard to get my credit, to save money, to like buy my first house. It was such a big deal. This was like a couple months before I got that DUI. The biggest goal in my life. I bought my first house with my wife at the time. Didn't even matter. I was still doing drugs. Right when we bought the house, I got my DUI like 2 months after. It just shows like drugs.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So yeah, anyways, I go to rehab, come out. Everybody's supportive. Like,
Yeah, of course.
but then in my marriage, there's a couple things I can't talk about, but trust is everything. Fucking trust is everything. Oh God, I want to talk a lot more. Some things happened in my life, which made me want to like jump off a bridge, kill somebody, or run my car through my house. Like some gnarly shit happened.
Yeah.
And I was so fresh. Instead, I didn't care. I'll burn it all to the ground. Like I'm a very loving guy, but like when I get like lose it, I'll just burn all the ground. I don't care.
Yeah.
I started doing drugs right away. Instead of like snapping on what happened, I just called my buddy. I got heroin, you know, and that lasted another 3 months. And then, my wife, she knew I was dealing with shit, but there's some other things. I don't even know how to stir around this. But anyways, I go back to the same fucking rehab that I was just at. I used to talk shit on people. Not talk shit, but like, how do you go to rehab and come out and go right back? Because it's like a revolving door. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
It fucking happened to me.
Of course. Like your cankles.
Like my fucking cankles, yes.
Sorry.
It was good. It was good for me at the time, but I remember like Russ, he knew when I was going down, like just depressed. The second time around, I just gave up. I'm like, fuck, I don't even want to live. Crying down there, just of like no hope. And just walking back in the same fucking rehab after I got out like 3 months before, saying how good I'm going to do. And I felt like I would have done good. But yeah, a huge thing in my life happened. It's not that fault because if I was doing recovery the right way, I could have steered around that. But I'm telling you, what happened in my life is probably the biggest thing that could fucking ever happened in somebody's life that would make somebody snap. So whatever. But I still could have steered around it. Anyways, I didn't. I show up in rehab again, the same fucking rehab. I didn't want to be there. I didn't like, listen, I'll stay here for 30 days. anyways, 30 days. I'm like, I'm going to stay here for 90 days. That 90 days saved my life.
Jeez.
Because about a month and a half in, that's when I really did the steps. But this time I did it correctly.
Yeah.
I let go of some shit. I told my counselor some shit I was going to take to the grave with me. Some magical shit happened, dude. Like step 4, after letting all that stuff go, after telling my counselor was the first person I told that I was only sober for 5 years, and I've been bullshitting everybody. And that felt so fucking good, dude. It felt so good because I was tripping that whole time for 2 years. I was like the biggest weight on my shoulder, and it's so much harder when you have so much light on you from like fans and all these people that like look up to you. Like it makes it so much harder.
Of course.
Because everything's in the spotlight, and like telling that person, my counselor, that there's some other things I told, making my amends, realizing what my defects are. Like maybe I'm not this fucking dude that I've been getting fed my whole life, and badass tattooed up metal militia rider that, you know, like a hardcore, you know,
Yeah.
dude, I'm a fucking softy, dude. I'm a lover, bro. Like, and that's my defects, you know, like I don't care. Drop my fucking ego, dude. Like I don't really care. I'll send it, but I got to focus on myself, dude. Like, I'm not doing it for everybody else. Ego's a big thing. Self-will, all that shit.
It's huge.
So I realized a lot about me, and I really started working on myself. And it was some magical fucking shit that happened. And then, yeah, like, I was going to come back to my house, my dogs, my wife, but some things happened in there. I realized, like, dude, I got to change my whole life. So out of rehab, this was like 4 months ago. I'm like, I'm selling my house. I'm getting a divorce from some things that happened that led me to rehab, selling my house. You know, it's fucking crazy. And that's what I was saying earlier. Like on paper, I got a lot of shit going on. I got that DUI a year and a half ago. And with COVID, there's still my court dates next month, but I've had like 5 court dates. They keep on pushing it.
Jeez.
And they want me to go to jail for 50 days.
What?
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I got a lawyer, but he's trying to get me out of it. But if I go, dude, I should pay for my consequences, you know, even though nothing happened. I've accepted that. So on paper, bought my first house, my dream house, just got out of rehab, fucking, you know, losing my house, divorce, all this stuff. On paper is bad. I've never been so happy in my life and content. I feel like I have this like kind of shield around me. I feel like I'm doing it once for myself. Before I was doing it for everybody else, everybody else, trying to help people. Now I'm doing it for me. I'm really working on myself, really figuring out what my issues are, my defects, trying to like pinpoint certain things, just trying to be a better person. And it's amazing. And so many things are falling into place, dude. Even like some people I've met, this person I met, I don't want to get into it, but there's some magical things that fucking happen, dude.
I know.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Jesus, man.
Floaty potato.
Oh. To be able to go through all of that, man, and to come back, like what is it? Is it the support? Is it you?
Yeah,
is it letting
support.
go of the ego?
And there's so much stuff I left out. You know, I'm just trying to pinpoint some things. Dude, I don't know. I love sobriety so much. To wake up, to like be firing at all cylinders, just fired up for life, just living life to the fullest, dude. And like, it's not so much about motocross. Motocross is my life, but like doing new things. Andy Roy went to rehab with him. Like we're like little kids. Let's go skydiving. Let's go hiking. Let's go to the beach. Like whatever, just living life to the fullest, knowing you don't need drugs, dude. Like 100%. Like the fun I have still going out at night. Like it's just amazing. And like showing people that you can do this without drugs and alcohol. Yeah. It's so much fun. But everything got me to this point, showed me this. You know, I had to go through a lot of stuff to realize that. So I don't know. Life's good, man.
But what's to say if something else doesn't come burning down, it's not going to bring you back? What's different?
I feel that I let a lot of stuff go, and I'm actually doing recovery this time. Before, I was always trying to do it my way. And in recovery, if you try and do it your way, you will always fall. This time, like, I've been working with my sponsor a lot. And the biggest thing is just realizing why I did drugs. I realized, like, I was doing drugs it wasn't even about the drugs this last couple times. It was about my insecurities and like some things that was happening in my life, me being scared to face them head on. So I was just being a pussy, just doing drugs to mask it and not deal with the issues, not deal with like some of the stuff that's been in my head. Instead of like confronting that and being like, dude, maybe I need help for this, or I need to be open about this. I would just do drugs to like, you know, look like I was a lot tougher. on Instagram, everybody thinks I have a perfect life and how strong I am. You know, like,
of course,
that's what I look at Instagram, how bullshit it is.
It's bullshit.
Everybody's got fucking issues, dude. It takes like a real man to like be open and like, I'm fucked up, I need help. You know, it's hard for guys to say that.
Of course.
You always got to be the tough guy. And that's what I was. I was the tough guy, especially like all these people I look up to you, Metal Militia, like what I just said, like all this stuff, like it's a very hardcore persona. So to actually be like vulnerable and be open, it was hard at first, but now I don't care what people think, you know, and I'm just working on me.
Do you think that persona of the industry itself is still there? Like guys still got to be fucking badasses to be a part of it, or
not
is it
really? It's
changing?
Such a completely different sport now, you know. I'm still into the hardcore shit about motorcycles, you know, but it's like cool. I'll go send in rehab just to show that this last time in rehab I was trying to like really doing all this. I'm like, fuck, you know, maybe I'm not hardcore, but I know I am. Like in riding, but like maybe I'm not, because I look back all the big jumps I've done, like I've been fucked up. So I had my counselors take me out to Manny's, that big jump, like 220 feet. Never jumped in like 15 years. Every single time I was loaded. I did that in rehab. On the weekends, they let you out. Counselor and the dude that owns the rehab took me there. I had my buddy bring my bike. Fucking did it, dude. Haven't jumped in so long. Did it, and I did it better than I did. So that was like, it was such a...
What was that feeling?
It was sick, dude. It was so much fun. And like, I realized I'm riding. I'm doing stuff now. I feel better right now in my riding than I ever have. And it just shows, like, it's crazy. I mean, then I went skydiving. I realized I've been skydiving before twice, but I took Xanax both times, thinking that would help. I went sober. The first time I was tripping. This time sober, I was fucking fired up, pumped. Like, everything I do is just, it's amazing. And I've had sobriety. I've had 5 years doing this, but it's just different this time when you really do it. And I always remember going to meetings here, all the old timers and everybody that's actually doing recovery, the magic you see when you actually do it with 2 feet in, with the steps, and you really have to open up. And I'd always try and do it my way. The first time in rehab, I didn't do anything. The second time in rehab, I'll do it with 1 foot in. I'll try and do it. And I thought I was doing it. No, like this second time I did it, praying, meditating, just things happen, dude. And I fucking feel completely different, amazing. Who knows if I'll get fucked up tomorrow? I really don't think so. I really know that I've pinpointed a lot of things in my life. And yeah, it's just rad. And then Stephanie, who you had come in, she's helped me a lot, dude. A lot. I can really get deep with this. But yeah, we've kind of linked up. We've been riding a lot. She's shown me like all these new things. Like she's really got me to be healthier. That's a big thing about sobriety, dude. It's not just getting off drugs, like changing her lifestyle, dude.
Of course, what we put in our body, man.
Exactly. I've been like going to the gym every day. She's shown me like a whole new way of life, dude. She rides too. So instead of like just jumping all the time, she got me to do some races. We just did a desert race last week.
How was that?
I thought I was going to die. I'll jump 200 feet all day, go big. But yeah, we did an hour-long race. It was a desert race. Never done a race like that. It was cool because we got to do it together. And the whole time I'm like, yeah, I got this. But we're on freestyle bikes, super stiff, you know, like it's not made for desert. Like all these other guys have like desert bikes you like go through. I'm like, I got this. And like kind of have a name, so I feel like I have to do good too. First lap, I'm like, I was doing pretty good. I got arm pump so bad. Arm pump. Do you know what arm pump is? When you ride? Can't even explain it. When you ride, it's a big deal. Your arms right here lock up so fucking bad. Like the pain and like the stiffness. You couldn't pay me $1,000 to pull all 4 fingers to pull my clutch in. Like my fingers didn't move. It was an hour-long race, and like about 10 minutes into it, my arms locked up. I'm like, holy shit, I don't know how I'm going to finish this. And then Stephanie, she was on the same, like, we were on the track together, but she was a couple gates behind me because she was in the chicks class. I waited for her so we could ride together because I couldn't even do my race. I was dead last, but I had to complete it. It was an hour long. And like each lap's 15 minutes and we were riding. She's like, we got one more lap. We go to the finish line and it's got a time thing. And it should have said 0 because we thought it was the last lap, and it said 2 minutes. So if we were there 2 minutes before, they would have checkered us. So we had to do one more fucking lap. But, dude, the lap is like 15 minutes. It's so fucking far. I couldn't even do it. And she finished the race, and I didn't. It was fucking hard.
You didn't finish.
Like, your fucking chick. I didn't even fucking finish, dude. Tapped out. So, but it's like new experiences, right? just like doing shit. I would never have done that,
Yeah.
you know, and just doing like all these new things. And I'm just having the best time of my life. And it just shows like all the stuff with the divorce, selling the house, how like certain things can turn into the best thing ever. You know, you see it. And everything in my life, from going to rehab the first time after like passing down the dust off, ended up being the best time. Because that's like when I got my life back. And like, even though it got dark again, ended up being the best time. I had a house, I lost it. I've never been happier.
Out of darkness comes light, my friend.
Yeah, it really does. And I feel like I've been kind of spotty with this story. It's so hard to tell my whole story like properly because there's just, it feels like there's so much shit, dude. It's hard.
I think
I'm not good at
story,
it.
dude,
I know, but I'm not good. I feel like I'm not that good at it.
Bro, I've done barely any talking in this podcast, so you're doing a good job, bro.
I mean,
you're
but
doing
just
a
like
job. You're doing a good job.
Shit.
You're doing a good job, bro. You're doing a good job, kid. You're doing a good job. No, seriously. I think telling anyone's story, bro, if I sat and tried to tell my fucking story, dude, there's just no way I can. But, you know, through us talking and just through you sharing, I've learned a lot about you and who you are as a human being, you know, and you've been through it all, man. You've had your ups, you've had your downs, but you continue to push forward, man. And you continue to inspire people. And you also talk about your ego a lot. And I think that's so important because I think that a lot of people need to learn how to just deflate their ego, man. Like it's just bullshit. It's literally bullshit. Like what does it mean to be a strong macho fucking, who gives a shit, man?
Yeah.
Life is way too fucking short, man. What matters is your mind, your body, your soul, fucking creating relationships, creating memories, having good times. Like, you don't need to be the baddest motherfucker in the room.
Yeah.
Maybe at one point in your life, we feel like we need to, right? But there comes a point where it's like, I can continue to hold on to that or I can let it go and then just open myself up to new experiences. Like, even you coming on here telling the story of like, the hour race that you just did and you threw in the towel, man. You didn't have to share that. You didn't have to fucking share that, but that's big, dude, because
I was going to ask, can we edit that out? I feel like an idiot now. Just joking about
No, it's staying.
That's why I said it.
No, dude, it's important because we're all human, man.
100%.
We're all human. Like it's just a fact. And so I don't know. I commend you on saying that. We can edit it out. That's completely up to you. No. You're like, shit, he just brought that up.
No, I want to say that, but I'm just so lucky. I feel I left out so many key people in my life that has helped me because I have it easy with this support system, but I feel like I've kind of created that it's weird when you're on drugs, like the people you surround yourself with. And then when you get sober, like if you like hang out with good people, just how, Russ, there's so many, but Russ, my friend who's here that can't talk because he doesn't have a mic.
Yeah.
But, he's a huge part of my life, dude. Like he's the kind of guy, he's in a wheelchair, but when I was in rehab going down there crying, he'd call me every day. How are you doing? Never bitched about his situation ever. We have a podcast together and, he helps me out every day, and you're here, Russ. Like, I love you, man. Like, he just helped. There's just a lot of key people that help me get to where I'm at, And it's just, I feel if you're a good person and you give back and you're honest, like, good things always happen. I just think it's really cool to just be a fucking good person now and just help out the others, dude. And like with my fucked up story, if I can help one dude out there, it was all worth it,
100%.
And I know it's already happened, so I'm just going to continue. Some people out there think my story if I'm a fucking dirtbag, but I know I'm trying to do the next best thing. I'm trying to realize who I am, trying to fix my issues, and just trying to be a good person to give back. And that's
spread the love.
That's it.
What about your relationship with your pops?
Amazing. It's after 2012 when I got out of rehab. He's a fucking Vietnam vet, first Marine. He was a cop. He's like a fucking hero, legend. He got cancer and he's divorced, so he lives by himself and he had stage 4 cancer. And that was right after, 4 years after I got out of rehab. So I was sober. It was hard. I'd have to go over there. He had cancer in his throat and he couldn't eat. He had like a tube in his stomach and I'd have to go over there 4 times a day and at night to go feed him when my dad was like crying saying he wants to die. He doesn't want to live after seeing your dad, how like he's just super human, you know, like that was the hardest thing for me ever. And then he had a fire extinguisher business for 30 years he started. And it's one of those jobs, like you have to keep that, you got to keep it moving, you know? And so I didn't know what to do. I had to go get licensed. So I kept that business alive when he was going through his shit. He barely made it. He's doing really good now. But I took over that business, and it was like, he was always going to give it to me when I was ready, but it was just crazy how I did when he was like almost going to die. That's what I do. That's like what I do 9 to 5 todays. I service fire extinguishers, family business. I love it more than anything. You know, it gives me, it's my own business. So I could do kind of work when I want, how hard I want. If I ride Friday, I'll work a little bit more. So it's cool. So yeah, that's what I do full time. Riding's more for fun, even though like the riding's really picking up now and everything I do. But yeah, doing that. And it makes me so proud that I'm able to like build my dad's company, and he gave it to me, and like keep it in the family. Like when he's gone one day, I take a lot of pride in it, you know? So it's cool. But yeah, me and my dad talk every day, my family, my mom, my sister. I'm very blessed, and I have very amazing people in my corner, and I feel like I'm the luckiest man in the world. Might go to jail next month, but I'll still but it's fine, dude. You know, like all this shit, I'm going through a divorce right now. I'm selling my dream home, and it's all good. That down the road, I'll look back and be like, dude, that was the best thing that's ever happened to me. Yeah. I get times quick, you know? So it's all perspective. Life is all perspective. You can look at certain situations one way, be totally fine, or look at it the way it looks like and be fucking ruin you. So
100%.
Life is good, man.
Damn, dude. You know, I think that it's something that both of you guys have. It's just like really good perspective. It could be the shittiest, darkest situation in both of your guys' lives, but your perspective on it and ability to push forward. Like for me, like shit, dude, when shit gets dark, shit gets real fucking dark, and I can't let go. And then, you know, sometimes it's just, it's hard. And maybe hindsight, you know, for me is I do work through it and then figure it out. But I don't know. You guys have this just bright, just this bright ability about you guys, and I commend that. So what's next, man? What's the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years for you?
Just keep on doing what I'm doing. I'm actually me and Stephanie, we're kind of teaming up, but we're trying to do like a long distance jump. She wants to do this long distance record for chicks. I've always wanted to jump 300 feet.
Jesus.
So I'm trying right now in the process of getting it is far, but when it just looks far. But when you're on a bike and you start like 100 feet and you go bigger and bigger and you go as fast as the bike will go, like when you ride, when you do something for so long, I love going big. It's not that big. I've never jumped 300 feet.
The fuck are you talking about? 200 feet is huge. 100 feet is huge, bro.
It is. But
in retrospect.
But it's going to be sick. So that's like my next goal. I think that'd be cool. I'm old now, dude. 38. So just pretty much still being in the mix, because from the original dudes, I'm like one of the last dudes still riding. You know, like Twitch is, of course, killing it, Deegan, but not a whole lot of other guys from our generation are still doing it. I feel, like I said, I've never felt better. I feel so healthy. I feel so great. So I'm just going to keep it going. Do the fire extinguishers every day. I'm just going to live in life, man. Living life, doing new races. I think me and Stephanie, she's getting me to do a supermoto race, which I've never even thought about doing, but I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. It's sick.
What does that even mean? What's a supermoto?
Supermoto it's a motorcycle dirt bike with street bike tires on it, and you're on a road track like for street bikes, and then it like goes over to a dirt bike track. A little bit of both. Supermoto.
So it's kind of like a mix.
It's a mix. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's pretty cool. I've never done it, but let's do it.
And wait.
Don't ask me how you do it. I have no idea. I've been a fan. I have no idea.
Okay. I want to ask you one. How does one jump 300 feet?
I don't know. I haven't done it yet, but
what's like?
I jumped like 200 and I think like 55, 260 feet, but it was off a jump where like it didn't even feel big at the time, that one. And that was a very long time ago. So yeah, I know I got it. It's cool. It feels like you're flying.
Has anyone jumped 300 feet?
Oh, dude, there's a guy right now. This is how big the sport has elevated. A guy just jumped 420 feet. Me and Seth kind of had the record at like 220 back in 2001. We had like the longest jump. Yeah, guys are going for it.
Yeah, dude.
300, that's just a big pinnacle, big. You know, just to say you pop that one off. So that would be a cool deal. And like how the ramp is set up and the landing is so big. It's just all about like physics and how fast you can go. The only thing you don't want it to happen, because it would be a certain death, is it don't come up short. Other than that, you're good.
That's it, right?
But even like all the jumps I've done, like I've done a lot of huge jumps, like jumped over that famous train jump. You just got to go for it.
How do you determine like how fast, like, cause
it's just all like just riding, being like just a pro, just figuring out, like I can look at certain lips, look at certain gaps, and like you just know, okay, about fourth gear, click, you know, like it's weird. It's just.
Do you think about it beforehand, or you just second nature?
No, the big jumps a little bit more second nature. I mean, think about calculated.
Like before you're like, okay, I gotta go this,
and even now it's not how it was. Like I feel a lot of my stuff, it's all calculated risk, you know, like back in the day I would just go for shit, but now I know I have a normal job, but I still go for it no matter what, but it's a little bit more calculated. So like this 300-foot jump, I'm not just gonna go out there and set it 300 feet and like fuck it, let's go for it. In the past maybe, you know,
dude, that's so crazy.
Scoot it back, but yeah, it's cool. I mean, and who knows, maybe it won't happen, but that is the goal. We have a ramp being made, and maybe I'll get to 280, whatever. It's just I'm just pushing it, just showing motherfuckers I'll go to rehab, burn and get sober, and like I'll come back stronger, dude. You know, like it's just amazing what recovery and sobriety, like it's just, I fucking love it, dude. It's cool. So yeah, I mean, I get a lot of people that reach out to me. They can just hit me up. I got a lot of good rehabs that I can steer them in the right direction.
How can people find you if they want to find your shit, dog?
Pretty much everything is my Instagram. It's Colin, COLIN _ _ Morrison.
It's a very long Instagram name.
It's weird. I know. I wish I would have shortened that.
Why can't you just do Scummy? I'm sure it's already taken.
Well, I kind of wanted to kind of ditch a Scummy name, you know, but that's already on there. I'm cool just Colin Morrison, but Scummy's in there.
All right. Say it again, though. Colin _ Scummy
_ Morrison, yeah.
All right.
So, yeah.
And what about the podcast?
Podcast is talking sobriety, but it's I used to do it like every week, like very structured, but after this time I'm doing me right now.
Good.
You know, me and Russ have we have a guest coming on next week, but it's really when it comes around, it comes around.
I love that.
I'm doing me. I'm like almost done with my step 9, and that's a big one to make my amends to everybody. I feel like I have to do it like that. What I just said about not being sober for 7 years, that's like I'm gonna do that same story, kind of a little short on my Instagram to like be open, because nobody really knows that, dude.
Wait a minute, seriously? Oh, you weren't joking when you said there wasn't many people.
No, like only some like close. And I knew I was coming on this, but I knew like I'm almost done with my step 9, and that was a big one of them, is keeping that secret. And people have to understand it wasn't like, it was just like everything I talked about. Ego thing, like I didn't have anybody to reach out to. It was very complicated, but I'm going to like be open and tell people that. And that's a big deal, dude. Like show people, look at this. You want to hear something crazy, but I'd rather be open about it. Let it go. People can judge me, talk shit, but I know what I'm doing now, and it is what it is. So yeah, I'm just doing me right now and living life to the fullest. I love it.
Dude, I can't thank you enough for coming on here, man. It really means the world to me. There aren't too many times when I do a podcast where I don't talk a lot, and I probably talked maybe 10 minutes this entire, 2-hour podcast, dude.
I have a problem with that, dude.
No, dude. It's
on
just,
our podcast, I always talk over us.
I know you weren't talking over me. I mean, even with your podcast, like it's just few and far between, though. It's like ones that make me step back and go, holy shit, dude. Like, I get it. And there's a lot of things that you said that are relatable too. And you just got some dope ass fucking stories, dude. And you've made it, dude. And you're like, you're doing it, and you're happy and you're proud. And it's like, I commend that, man. I commend that. So, and it's just cool because like we were talking about you coming on, you know, back in, I don't know, November, December, whenever you were, you know, in rehab, and you came out, and, you know, now you're having you here and doing the podcast now as we're wrapping it up. I don't know. It's just like time goes by quick, dude. But like, I appreciate you sticking to your word.
Yeah, man.
You didn't know me from shit, dude. I don't even know how the fuck did I just reach out to you or something like that? Or
I think you did. It's weird. You can gauge people. You're a good dude, man. Even hanging out with you last time, I love what you're about, what this podcast is about. I feel comfortable with you. It's cool, dude. I love what you're doing. The people you have on, just a lot of respect for you. So yeah, I was happy to do this, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
But I do know my stepfather, I do talk over a lot of people. Maybe I did talk too much, but I'm still working on me. So this is part of my problem, you guys. Fuck.
All right. Colin, Scummy. Is it Morrison?
Morrison.
Yeah. Morrison. All right, Colin, Scummy, Morrison. You know, this entire time I've gotten like the worst fucking Charlie horses in my legs just randomly. I'm getting old. I'm dying. Shoot me. All right, man. Thank you so much. And I'll spill water on your things.
Thank you. Later, guys.
That was a great outro. Posers, thank you so much for watching the podcast. If you guys like everything that we're doing, definitely subscribe to our channel. You see my head? Hit that right there. And if you guys want to watch more amazing content on Back to Your Story, hit that bad boy right there. Have a good night, people. Peace out. Mother boop.